Got that there. There's red on the top of my screen and it shows 6 seconds. It's probably going to show on that computer right now, and people probably hearing me right now there. That's alive. And then this over here should come up live. I've got ultra low latency, so it should only be a few seconds. And there we go. And I see Ken Misudek saying hello in the chat from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Welcome, Ken. Thanks for joining us. And oops, I'm hearing some noise. I've got to mute that speaker and then punch over here. And here's Harold. Hi, Harold.
Hi.
All right. We got this show on the road. Okay, so our task today is you've got your new SSD drive. Why don't you hold it up to prove it to everybody? There it is. And it's got a tail. It looks like a rat. And
that's the
StarTech.com
adapter.
Okay.
That
awesome.
You had me order.
Yeah, that was somewhere around $10, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Okay, so
terribly expensive.
What we're going to do is clone the hard drive that's in your computer to that SSD. And after the clone is finished, then you'll disassemble your laptop. Your laptop has to have the back removed, and we looked at those instructions last time. And then put the new drive in, and our plan is for you to show us at least intermittent portions of that process through your cell phone connection into Zoom, and then put it back together and start it up and see a successful upgrade to SSD. And I don't think your clone operation is going to take awfully long because you don't have a lot on that hard drive.
Yeah, Tim kind of scared me. He said it took him 3 hours, but I guess he just had a ton of pictures.
Yeah, he did, because he had all of his photography stuff on there. So lots and lots of stuff. So we're going to try using Acronis. I don't have a lot of experience with Acronis myself. I worked with it once with, I think it was Greg or Rick in one of my other videos. There's a lot of people that watch these videos that are big fans of Acronis. I have multiple years of experience with Macrium Reflect Backup, but they both do very much the same thing. They have different plans of how they operate. So what I'd like to do with this is kind of give you tips and hints along the way for you to go find Acronis and download it and install it on your computer to show what the experience is like for a person who doesn't do this every day. Now, you do have somewhat of a technical background, so you might have an easier go of it than some people might, and I'm not really sure what this is going to look like. So I'm going to switch over to your computer now, where I've already got a remote connection to it. So this is Harold's laptop. And last time we were on together, I was having some sluggishness and delays in the connection. So I'll just demonstrate that we don't have that now. Here the seconds are clicking away just fine. And when I come down here into the search field and type some characters, I don't get any pixelation. And before we started the stream today, I tried the remote connection with instant house call, and I still had that pixelation. Now I have the connection through Log Me and Rescue, and it seems to be performing a lot better. Now, I don't want to ding instant house call very much for that, because my computer that I'm using for the remote connections is a pretty slow computer. So I'd like to compare the two remote products with a more reasonably current model computer. I see Daryl Gilholm in the chat. Hi from Newcastle, UK. Hello, Darren. Let's see. I guess you are afternoon now. Welcome. Thank you for joining.
Across the pond.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so the task is for you to go find the Acronis backup software and download it. With me just saying that much, how would you go about doing that?
Well, I'd go over here to the Edge,
Sure.
and I'm not sure the spelling of it.
Yeah, I'll give that to you. ACRONIS.
There it is, acronis.com.
That looks good.
There's the official site. Secure
Yeah.
Windows 10 backup.
That sounds good.
Complete backup software for Windows 10 and home and business.
Okay, so there's an Acronis True Image 2021. Protect up to 5 Windows Mac computers. Try now, free for 30 days, or Acronis Cyber Backup. My awareness, it seems to me that they have a free version for cloning hard drives. But if you want to do regular ongoing backups, you have to do a paid version. I'm inclined for you to not do the trial and see if we can just find a download for the free version of their software that will not be bugging you to buy their higher version. Although it probably still will bug push you for that. So let's see. I'm looking here to see what, and this is new to me. This is my first time looking at their site. Secure, proactive ransomware defense on the left. No, reliable full image backup and individual files. That sounds possible. 500K backed up businesses, 5 million. Now, are these clickable over here? No, they're not. Okay. So Acronis True Image, I believe, is the software that we want, but I'd rather not do the trial. So let's try the Learn More button on the Acronis True Image panel. Okay, so there's Try Now and Buy Now. Product Solutions Partner Support Company at the top. Okay, this thing about this website uses cookies at the bottom of your computer to enhance user experience. This is going to be seen more and more often. Basically, websites are being required to give this notice. We've had cookies all along. They've always been there. They do provide a useful function. So my inclination is just go ahead and click agree and get past it and move on. So there's a try now and there's a buy now. How about let's go up on products in the upper left of the menus at the top and see if there's another variation here. There's a try it free on the middle left side. Cyber cloud protection. Well, that sounds like that might be for cloud. Home and office on the right hand side. Acronis Disk Director, VS Doctor, and the only thing there likely is Acronis True Image. So in the upper right hand area, there's for home and office, and right under that, Acronis True Image. Is that clickable? That blue right there?
Yeah.
Let's go into that and have a look. Hello, Sam Van Thiel has said hello in chat. Welcome. Glad you joined us. And then, so this takes us back to where we are. So it looks like we're just don't have any other reasonable choice but try now. So let's go ahead and do that try now. Try it free for 30 days, 1 terabyte Acronis Cloud, create mirror image of your system, scan your system for malware, backup individual files and folders, build an all-in-one recovery drive, authenticate data using blockchain. I'd like it if they actually said clone. Create a mirror of your image. Yeah, it's not quite clone. That could be an image of your hard drive. Let's go ahead and download for PC and see what it works out. And there's your download happening in the upper right. It says Acronis True Image 2021. I'm seeing 10 people watching currently. One of those would be me.
So if it was a clone, it might not be bootable. Is that
No,
what the issue would be.
a clone should be bootable. An image would not be bootable. I
Okay.
very commonly create image files where I can have a backup drive and I can have multiple image files from different hard drives. So it takes the whole hard drive and just sticks it into a file on another hard drive. So that's not going to be bootable. But cloning it is what makes it bootable. So there, that has finished downloading. Go ahead and click to open it. And then yes on user account control. And yes for the installer. So as a recap, our plan in this video is to create a full clone of Harold's hard drive to the SSD that he has on hand. He'll be connecting it by USB to the computer, make the clone, and then actually disassemble the computer. Now go ahead and click install. Disassemble the computer to put the new drive in, and then reassemble the computer and start it up, all during this live stream. And Viv has arrived. Hello, Viv. She says, hi, Doug. True Image allows you to create a rescue disk, which is bootable, and allows you to clone your disk. Yeah, we're not going to do it with that. I hope that's not the only way they do it. Does Acronis require that you use a bootable rescue disk? As Macrium, we can create a clone directly from the software without using any external media. Sam says, no, it's a way. Sam, not the way. Don't quite know what you're saying there, Sam, because it's like I said, you want to turn right or left and you're saying no. Okay, now let's see, I'm looking at your taskbar at the bottom to make sure there's no other user account control blinking at us down there. There's not. Now it's moving along. So I'm expecting and hoping that this will allow us to create a clone from within the software without having to create something on a USB drive. Okay, then Sam says the rescue media is an option, not a requirement. Perfect. Perfect. Glad to know that. Thank you, Sam. So I've had very little experience with Acronis. My go-to product has been Macrium Reflect for a lot of years. And I am giving Acronis a shot because I know there's a lot of people that really seem to love it. And I did actually see a rep from Acronis on MSP Unplugged last Friday. They had a person from their company on the show. So Harold, it's actually been 1 week. Last Tuesday, today is Tuesday, last Tuesday is when you ordered the SSD.
Yeah, and it came in Friday.
Came in Friday. Not like the old days when we did mail order.
Yeah.
Remember mail order catalogs?
Now they have so many more trucks buzzing our neighborhood now.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
There's UPS, there's On Time, there's Amazon, and then of course the US Mail.
Yeah. And the US Mail even delivers Amazon stuff on Sundays. I don't know if
Right.
they're still doing that. They did for a while. And I've also seen 2 Amazon trucks in my neighborhood at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
It, the trivia voice inside me would like to be comparing 2 identical same models of computers, one with an SSD drive, one with a spinning hard drive for this installation process. I would expect this installation process to go quicker on an SSD, but how much of this installation process is actually dependent on the SSD and how much is the brain of your computer thinking? That's something I'm not willing to assume. So considering what's in the background there on the screen, enjoy 1 terabyte of Acronis Cloud. So I guess that's in this section. I'm going to drag this off to the right a little bit if I can. Let me.
I'm gonna go silence that phone.
Doing that. Oh, it went away. Did it finish? I glanced away for a moment and that window was just gone. So we're going to wait for a little while and see if something else comes up. I was trying to drag it off to the right. Certainly shouldn't have aborted it. I'm going to minimize your browser, see if it's on the desktop. There it is. So it did complete. It didn't give us any complete message. All right, go ahead and launch Acronis. Answer yes to user account control. Let's not participate in the experience program, but accept the agreement.
I just signed my life away.
Yeah, it has some impact on your family members, but they're not so harsh on you. So here's enter a serial number. We don't have a serial number, so it looks like, and that activate button is kind of grayed out. I don't think it's clickable right now, correct? The activate button is not clickable in the bottom right.
No, it says sign in though.
Yeah, let's not do that because we don't have an Acronis account. Let's use start trial in the bottom left. Yeah. Now, hang on, before you start filling this out, let's see if we can skip this. This is letting us create an account, join now, and start the trial version. Is this a requirement? I'm guessing that it is. So that's a way for them to prevent the same person from doing a trial account over and over and over on different computers, is what I'm thinking. And that's what my point is. I thought I'd been told that Acronis lets you make clones of a computer for free, but if you want ongoing backup, you have to pay for it. Now, this is a trial account, so they want you on the hook. There's an inter-serial number and a create account button. So there's no continue button that allows us to get past this without entering information. Let's click on accept the terms checkbox and not the receive tips, and still doesn't give us a button that will go past this. So go ahead and click create account without putting anything in, and let's just verify that they won't let us do that. Nope, all those turned red, so it's requiring it. So go ahead and put in your name, and hang on a second. I'm wanting to get better about blurring things that really ought to be blurred. So I'm trying to get more disciplined with blurring email address, for instance. So I'm going to do a split mode here, and then on this side, do that, and let's do this. I need to get efficient and quick with blurring portions of a screen. Now I'll push that live. So the email field is blurred out now. So go ahead and type in your email. And then just type one character for a password. Let's make sure it shows up as a dot. Yes, so you're not going to reveal a password here. So do you have a piece of paper that you can write down the password that you're about to create?
Oh, yeah.
And don't use a password that you use on other accounts, because if this company ever has a data breach and the bad guys find out what password you use for this account, then they might try that password on other places that you might have accounts. Okay, let me know when you're done. Now don't click on.
I'm not sure if that's going to be accepted as a password, but
Wait a minute, before you do that. I want to point out that there's an eyeball at the right-hand side of that field. Do not click on it, because that would display the password that you typed. So that if you had any question in your mind whether you typed it the way that you expected, you could use that eyeball to see what you typed. But I'm just mentioning that as a point of training for people that might watch this video. All right, so go ahead and click create account, and I took you off screen for a moment because we don't know what it's going to show next. Okay, and that is acceptable screen. So anti-malware protection, on the left-hand side, there's a do not show. So you want to be careful not click past these screens too quickly. Anti-malware protection, they're advertising this to you. We don't want to see any advertising. We don't want to do it. So let's skip that. Let's click skip. Backups. Okay, so there's, we've got your laptop on the left, and it looks like we can select a destination on the right. That looks like a pretty quick and simple clone, if that's what I'm understanding here. Okay, so go ahead and connect the new SSD to your USB port. Okay, and Viv is saying go to Tools, and Sam says cloning is on the Tools tab. So it's not that straight up simple right now. That's just going to a backup. Viv says do not use backup. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. We will go to Tools. Now, let me point out that a person coming into this not knowing that already could easily make the mistake that I was just about to make. So I think you already clicked on Tools, didn't you?
I haven't clicked on it. I just moved the mouse over.
Okay, go ahead and click on it. There's Clone Disk. Okay, that's big, bold, and beautiful. And let's look at the others first. Oh, that says buy full version to unlock. Then Rescue Media Builder, Acronis Universal Restore, Parallels Access, Try and Decide, System Cleanup. Scroll down, let's see what else is there. Does it let you scroll down?
I'm looking for it. Maybe if I make it bigger.
Yeah.
I don't see a scroll bar.
Okay, let me try it. I got the mouse. Coming over here on this border. See, I see a white part here and I see a blue part
Oh, there
down
it is.
here. So that looks like a scroll bar to me.
There it is.
Yeah. Third-party tools and all tools. Scrolling back up. So clone disk has a padlock there, and it says buy full version to unlock. We're in trial mode 31 days. So does this not let us clone the disk without buying the product? Have I been told incorrectly? This utility helps. I clicked on that. I should have stayed there while I was and read what the message is. So there's for buying. I float over the I. This utility helps you clone your operating system applications and data to a new disk. The new disk will be identical to your old one, and the system bootability will be kept. Now we have to buy the full version to unlock. That was not my understanding of Acronis. I thought Acronis would let us
If you
clone
click
without
on
buying
it, because when you roll over it, it unlocks.
Yeah, that padlock looks on unlock, but it's right next to the words buy full version. So I'll go ahead and try clicking right in here. See what we get. And it wants us to buy.
Yeah, it's not going to go any further, I guess.
All right, then Sam says that's right. The rescue media will have the functionality. I'm not asking about the rescue media. I'm asking about, do we have to buy it in order to do a one-time clone operation? I'm about to abandon this and go to Macrium Reflect, which will let us do that. Viv says she's never tried using it free. Another possibility, I think that I have heard people say that when they buy a new drive, SSD or spinning drive, it comes with a minimized clone version of Acronis that can do a clone operation. And now that I think about that, I'm really thinking that's what I'm missing here, is that there's something that may have come either with the drive or in somehow in support of the drive, and I don't know how to access that. So when you receive this drive from Amazon, I've received lots of those now. I have to admit, I haven't looked through the paperwork. Here's the paperwork that came with one that I recently bought. Does it have some kind of maybe a serial number or unlock code or something for Acronis?
It says here, to take full advantage of Samsung SSD, it is recommended to install Samsung Magician.
Yeah, I'm familiar
Data
with
migration
that.
and Samsung Magician software can be downloaded from our website at samsung.com/SSD.
Okay. Yeah, Samsung disks have that. Samsung SSD comes with Samsung Magician. So does Samsung Magician do cloning? Waiting for a response from chat about that. If so, then we'll go do that. And Darren, yes, Samsung and only work with that. So yeah, Samsung Magician would only work with Samsung. Okay, well, Samsung Magician is a good thing to have when you have a Samsung SSD. It's not required, but yeah, let's go check that out. So go ahead and exit Acronis True Image from the X in the upper right corner. And let's go uninstall a Cronus True image to keep your system clean. You know, settings, there you go. Apps, fine. And Ken says Samsung Magician works great, does clone. Up in the upper right, programs and features would be my go-to for uninstalling this, because Windows 10 just takes us into this apps and features, and that's not the great place to do it. That only does apps. So now a Cronus True image on the top of that list.
I need to right click on it.
No, just left click on it, then click on uninstall above that, and right click does it too.
It was nice that it was right on the very top.
Yeah. Maybe they intentionally came up with a name that begins with an A. That is a marketing strategy. I don't need I prefer another solution for my purpose. Oh, can we get through this without answering their questions? Yeah, we can just close this tab. We don't have to go through this. It's uninstalling without us finishing their survey. The browser tab up at the top, right there, that X, closes that. And then, you can close all of that browser. We don't need, we'll close that tab. Although we're going to go do another search, aren't we? Let's see, did it finish? Uninstallation failed. Oh, that is not a well-behaved program. Not good. Go ahead and view details. Yeah, that doesn't. Parameters are not valid. Sorry, that is not well behaved.
Should we try it again? Maybe we were messing with it while I was trying to install.
Sure, go ahead.
Programs and features.
Yeah.
Leave it alone this time.
All right, yeah. And Sam says, does it? I don't see it. So I think Sam is questioning, does Samsung Magician do cloning? Carl says, you want data migration software to clone the disk. Samsung Magician after disk is installed to update firmware. So I think Carl is saying data migration software. He's saying some other software, not Samsung Magician. So I think there's a shadow of doubt that Samsung Magician does cloning. I'm concerned about how much we're straying away from something that I know works. I know Macrium Reflect works. I know my way around it. Carl says Samsung data migration. Data migration doesn't sound like cloning. Carl, are you saying that Samsung data migration is cloning? You have to search Samsung for migration software. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think I'll research that offline. I think we've spun our wheels enough here. We're going to go for what I know works. So let's close that. Did File Explorer open on its own, or did you open it?
It opened on its own.
Oh, that's curious. Uninstallation failed. Again, not impressed.
Wow.
Let's just close that and we'll move forward. Open a browser and go to do a search for Macrium Reflect.
Spelling?
M-A-C, that was M as in Mike. A-C-R-I-U-M reflect, and it's showing up there, reflect free. That's fine. Macrium.com, that's fine. Okay, so you close that down, and then home use on the left. There's a button for home use. Please enter an email. Don't put an email address in, just click the continue button. And then it's downloading. So that's a little tricky there, and I didn't realize you could click that continue button until somebody in chat pointed that out to me one day. I think that's who pointed it out to me. So then go ahead and open file. And Android 101 says Samsung does have a tool to clone and migrate your data. And is it Android One? Is it Samsung Magician that does that, or is that some other tool? Carl says under support page for the drive you are using on Samsung website, Viv says you download from Samsung site free tool to clone. Yeah, okay, I hear what you're saying, folks, and I believe you, but we're gonna move forward with something that I know. So up at the top, select Macrium Reflect software to download free, and then save to folder, run installer directly after downloading. Yep, go ahead and click download.
Boy, this loads a lot faster than the other one, the Acronis.
Well, that's downloading, so it hasn't started installing yet. I didn't pay attention to how large the Acronis download was. This one is 110 megabytes. Thank you for downloading our software. Please open the installation file, follow the instructions. So click close there. And let's wait for a minute. There we go. And then yes. And next. And then next. Accept. Next. And then home. Next. Do not put an email address. Remove the check mark for register this installation. And then click next. And yeah, we'll accept the desktop shortcut. We don't need VM boot. So next. Okay, then let's see, catch up on chat. Viv says you download from Samsung site free tool to clone. Android says no, it's another tool from Samsung, so it's not within the Magician. So here's a piece that's going to take more time if you want to see something that's more comparable to the length of time that Acronis took. This little, an installation is an installation is an installation. It's going to take a little bit. I'm seeing 21 people now watching. Well, actually, that screen says 21 people. This one says 18, and it also says 21. So I don't know. How's the stream going in chat? Do you see any? Are you seeing any buffering? My stream health screen says it's excellent. No buffering. And when there's a long delay on an installation, I want to look down at the taskbar at the bottom to see if there's any pulsing icon. And that would happen when there's some kind of confirmation window in the background waiting for you. That's moving along. And Pochaco2007 says perfect. I guess he's referring to the stream. Android says Macrium Reflect is not really using or user friendly in my opinion. Last time I used it, Samsung tool just works and just a couple clicks away. And now, but that's only going to work with Samsung, right? Michael Martin, all okay at my end. That would be for the stream. Android says it's fine. That'd be the stream. Viv, the Marine here. Viv, are you telling us that you're a Marine? Okay, yeah, go ahead and finish with the launch now check mark. Ken says Samsung data migration only works on Samsung drives. So when I'm doing a cloning with something other than Samsung drives, I still need to know a different product. Darren Gilholm, A-OK, and that'd be referring to the stream. Okay, so that finished and we told it to launch. I see a Macrium Reflect icon on your taskbar at the bottom, but it has not opened up on top of everything else. So go ahead and click on that and then open it. So there is Macrium Reflect. And what we'll do is in about the middle of the screen, there's a link that says clone disk. So here's how many clicks it's going to be. Somebody mentioned how many that Macrium Reflect is not user friendly, like implying it takes more clicks. So let's count them. And now before we do that, I want to look at the partitions that are displayed on your existing disk. We have 5 partitions displayed. And I'm just questioning, yes, we do want to go ahead and take all of them. So yeah, go ahead and click clone this disk. Now on the bottom half of the screen, it's asking you to select a disk to clone to. Click on that. And then there's a disk displayed below. Now it might be a little bit difficult for a person to understand that that's what's being displayed down there, but that's it. So you just click in the middle, that gray area is fine. And that's how you select it. So there you have selected it. So you have your source in the upper left of this window. I'm going to point with the mouse for a moment. It says source up here. It says destination here. You've made your choices. Now click the next button. And then this is giving us a chance to schedule the operation. We don't need to do that, so click next. And then this is showing the way the choices that you've made, essentially. We don't have to do anything there, just click finish. And we don't need to save the backup and schedule it, so you can remove that check mark. We do want to run it now. So leave that check mark and click OK. And it's running. I have a hard time understanding why anybody complains about the number of clicks. I really don't find that hard at all. Well, let's see. Let me catch up. Android Sam says, I personally use Acronis Rescue Media to close the disk as fast as possible without using any other resources. Linux Media. Okay. And I guess Sam is correcting his spelling with the word clone instead of close. I get it. Blackwatch says, hey, Doug, good to see you live. Thank you. Glad to have you here. Acronis TI is my go-to. That's great. Happy for you. Using a boot CD. Viv says, from what I understand, the tool from Samsung is Acronis. That only works with a Samsung. That makes total sense. That makes total sense because I think that what I've been told is that when you buy a Samsung disk, you can use Acronis Free to do the clone so that it is a tool from Samsung that you download from Samsung's website. That makes total sense. I will admit to not having that firmly implanted in my memory, and I thought we could just go to the Acronis site and be able to clone for free, and that was not correct. So Acronis is only going to be used when you buy a Samsung disk. You download the Acronis tool from the Samsung website and then can clone the disk. I have many needs for cloning drives that do not involve Samsung. So I still have not found a motivation to want to go use that instead of the product that I know. Now, Macrium Reflect Free for personal use allows a person to go ahead and make ongoing backups, either image backups or file system backups for free. You're not cheating. It is their intention for individuals to use it free. Now, I do sell it to my clients for business use. That's a commercial purpose. But for an individual personal use, their intention is that it's available, ongoing, free, and it can be scheduled. And I have no dog in the race. No dog in the race? Yeah, that's the right word. I'm not a shill for Macrium Reflect. I have no connection with the company. Then let's see, Android Home. I think Macrium Reflect has updated the process. I can't remember. It seems much easier now. That could be true. Blackwatch says my boot CD works with all drives, but free versions work well in my opinion. Okay, and I have a Macrium Reflect boot USB. I don't do it from CD. A lot of the computers I've come across these days don't have CD drives, but I will boot from USB and perform the clone operations when I have a reason to do that. And Ken says, I've been using Acronis paid version, but recently had trouble using Acronis. I switched to Macrium Reflect and like it better. Wow, that's an interesting point, Ken. Thank you for sharing that. Now, I would be a little resistant to, I'm very resistant to jump to a different product just because I have some problems with one product. I've done that in the past and I find myself just leapfrogging around them all. And that was especially true back in the Windows 7 days with antivirus software. They would misbehave so often and I would jump to a different product and it would work well for me until they encountered a problem. So we got 12% on the overall progress, current process 14%. Now this current and overall progress, did you notice, Harold, at the beginning of this, did it do a green bar all the way across pretty quickly at the beginning?
I didn't notice that.
It might have. We can scroll around here and look a little bit because current progress, the first item it would have done was this 1 of 5 right here. And that was only 260 megabytes. So that one could have done a green bar really quick. And then operation 2 of 5 is 16 megabytes. So that one probably did a green bar pretty quick. And then operation 3 of 5, this is your C drive. And it's got 86 gigabytes. So that's what it's currently working on. It's 18% through of that, but it says only 16% on the overall progress. Well, that's because after that operation 3, then it's going on to operation 4, which we don't get to see yet. It hasn't shown up on the screen yet.
It does test the destination drive for that it has the necessary size and all of that.
Yes, it does. If the destination drive isn't large enough, it won't even offer it as a destination. When you went to that place where you clicked for selecting a destination, and if I'm remembering right, I will qualify myself with that by saying if I'm remembering right, it won't even display it. So I'm just dragging this down a little bit to show you have 931.51. It's the exact same size, your source and your destination. That was unusually coincidental. I'm gonna have to put a pause on my statement there, because if we had looked at this prior to selecting this destination, was it the same? I'm a little bit. We'd have to rewind back in the video to see that. And by the way, people in the chat, I do have the replay, the DVD thing. You can rewind back to see if before we selected the destination, did it indicate that the destination available for us to select was 931.51 gigabytes. Seems to me unusual that it's an identical match. So I think I need to catch up a little bit on chat, see what you guys are saying. Then Ken's comment, and then Vivian. I'm sorry, I'm calling her Viv because Vivian and I have had a few email interchanges, and she signed off as Viv, so I've been calling her Viv. That how you use Acronis if you are a computer consultant using USB rescue disk on your client's computer. No need to install anything on the client's computer. Yes, that is that, and I do that with Macrium. I'll use it from USB, so I'm not installing on the client's computer. Ken says I also use Minitool Partition Wizard free. Blackwatch says there's also Aomi free, but as Doug said, mixing things can be so-so. I guess he's responding to Ken. ATI 2021 now has antivirus new untested. Blackwatch says PW works well, but not free since version 9. That would be Partition Wizard, I think he's referring to. Android 101 says you use the Samsung tool provided by Samsung to clone migrate your data. Not sure which Acronis version you are talking about. Well, it sounds like, as I'm understanding the comments and what I've heard before, that the Samsung tool that you download is actually a revision or a version of Acronis, and it might not be labeled as that, but perhaps operationally they'd look the same. I don't know. I do know, as Android 101 goes on to say, I do know that with Western Digital drives, Crucial SSDs, they have a specific version for Western Digital drive Crucial SSDs. However, you need to have the drives connected to be able to use the software. Sanegoat says, Macrium Reflect worked great the first time I used it a couple weeks ago. I am used to the Samsung software. Sam, the rewind option you have disabled, really? Okay. You would have to turn it on for the next stream. Oh, you know what? I think it might be that I have ultra low latency, and I think that automatically disables the DVD. Kind of like the ultra low latency, because that way, because sometimes people that I'm connected to through Zoom are watching on YouTube as well, and they can't see the YouTube video unless they're watching on YouTube. So ultra low latency is really useful. Android says, I think you need to readjust the partitions after cloning. With the Samsung software, you don't have to do that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, you're wrong. You can adjust partitions if you want to, and sometimes I do want to, but you don't have to. The partition should come out the same as they were on the source. Now, if the source drive has more space, then yes, you would have to adjust the partition to utilize that extra space. And perhaps that's what you're referring to. Michael Martin, your rewind option disabled. Yeah, I think you're right. And I'm going to turn to my other screen in a moment and look at that. This says Acronis is intelligent and will not let select the same disk to clone to. Well, yeah, Macrium won't let you clone to the same disk either. Android says, wow, really? I didn't know that. It might be a Cronus software, but not branded as a Cronus. I think that's the case. I think the tool that you download from Samsung's website is actually a Cronus software. It's just not labeled as that. But then again, I haven't seen it. So I'm looking back on this, my Mac, where I have the Stream Studio open. I think that'll tell me about the DVD mode, will it? Does it tell me there? No, it doesn't tell me there. But I think it's disabled because I've selected ultra low latency. Oh, I know here's something we can do while we're waiting for this thing to finish. Is I'm going to restore to Harold's computer to medium size on my computer, and then turn on a stopwatch. And I think we're going to be able to see how much delay there is in the stream. Let's see. Can I shorten this window? No, I can drag it down here. So let's see if this works. I was wondering, as I was walking around the block this morning, I was doing a experiment in my mind. I think, who was it? Was it Tesla that used that method of experimenting to do mental experiments? So if I start this stopwatch and then drag it to the right for a short amount of time, the amount of time that the stream delay is, I think you'll see two of them. I'm watching the YouTube and see, no, it doesn't. No, that's a failed mental experiment. Oh, no. I know what I need to do. I need to do, okay, here we go. I can do this. I just forgot part of the process. So Harold's computer's still there in the background. It's still going to be running for a while. So I'm going to do this experiment about the stream. So if I bring up my browser, which browser do I want to use? I'm going to use Edge because my Chrome brings up several tabs by default. Catching up on chat. Android said, yeah, that's what I meant. Blackwatch. Always align partitions to 4K first mini tool. PWV9 is free on Tom's Hardware and others. Viv says Acronis also does this adjustment to different disk sizes itself. Craig, welcome to my world. Craig, not quite sure what you're referring to there. Maybe you're referring to the various different features in the different softwares. But welcome to the live stream anyway.
Doug?
Yes.
I'd like to go back to Edge and download the page or print the page 36 on removing the optical drive. Because I was just reading over the process that we're going to be going through, and I don't remember that step, and I didn't print that page.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a higher priority than the stream latency.
It's not letting me close.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea for us to go poking around on your computer while the clone is running.
Okay.
Well,
we can do it afterward then.
Yeah. So repeat your question again. What is it
that you're wondering about? Print the page where it talks about how to remove the optical drive.
Print that page. Okay,
It
to
would be
remove the
page
optical.
36.
Oh, okay. The reason why you didn't print that is because it's really, really simple.
Well, that's what I thought, but then I got to thinking, well, now I don't remember.
Well, I'll tell you what it was. I think you'll remember when I tell you.
Okay.
When you turn the computer over, there's a single screw at the back of the optical drive. You pull that screw out, and then you use your fingernails to just kind of pull the drawer out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was,
And when we were looking at that, I asked you if you wanted to print that. He says, "No, I think that's simple enough."
yeah, and then a week later, I just totally blanked out on it.
Hey, yeah, let's see who was it that said whoever, yeah, like Craig said, welcome to my world. You and I are on the same page with that, but we already knew that as meaning referring to forgetting things. In fact, Viv sent a link to me recently about one of the recent videos that refreshed my memory about something I had done in the past with converting an NBR partition to GPT, and I found my old links on it, and I knew there was something back there, and something she sent to me by email pried that memory slot open. So again, thank you for that, Viv. Pardon?
Explorer just opened. Oh, you closed it?
Yeah. I'm not sure how that opened. I might have clicked on something. But what I wanted to do oh, I know what it was. Is the mouse? I just floated the mouse over the icons down on your taskbar. Because like I'm floated over Microsoft Edge right now on your taskbar. If I then move the mouse up to the actual thumbnail, then it pops up full screen. It hasn't been clicked on yet, so it won't stay there. If I move the mouse away to the right, it goes away. Oh, Craig was referring to failed mental experiments. Okay, very good. Android, what SSD are you installing? Go ahead and tell them what it is, Harold.
That's a Samsung.
What model?
1 TB. Oh, the model?
Yeah, there's a model number. These people will know that. Should be on the box, a number followed by letters.
SSD 870 EVO.
There you go. That's what they're asking for. Viv says, Craig, are we expected to reach your mind? Okay. Carl, FYI, Samsung data migration software is made by Clonix. Oh, okay. So this is Carl answering the question about Samsung's migration software, saying that's made by Clonix, not made by Acronis. Okay. Android 101, well, I guess it's not Acronis software. Viv, Carl, looks like my memory was wrong then. Android says, great choice. He's referring to your choice in SSDs. And Android, we had a video that we made last week, a week ago today, where Harold actually placed the order for that SSD. And so we also looked up the instructions of how to remove the SSD from his laptop. He's going to have to disassemble the computer by removing the bottom of it. There's a
Those pages printed.
Yeah, there's his print. Hold it closer to the camera. And you get an idea of how many different screws he's got. There's screws on the bottom corners that you could easily think you've got all the screws removed and not realize you have to actually remove the rubber feet because there's other screws under the rubber feet. Okay, we're good with instructions there.
Actually, there's 2 screws under each rubber foot.
2 screws. Okay.
Yes.
Michael Martin says, I feel your pain with some of those failed mental experiments. And yes, it is sometimes quite painful and embarrassing. but I've learned to get over that. So let's go back to my experiment. Here's as far as that failed mental experiment, I didn't actually perform it correctly. So what I'm going to do here, I'm on YouTube on my computer number 2. Harold's computer is still connected in the background. And I'm going to search for Live Windows Training, and it shows up Live Windows Training-DougBetts. So hit the down arrow key, then enter. And that gets to my channel. So then I'm going to click on one of the channel icon right here next to one of those videos. And that'll take me into my channel. And I'm going to mute this speaker so that we don't hear this. And then I'm going to play the video that we're live streaming right now. And then show you the experiment. So we're seeing that mirror trick where we're seeing a video inside a video inside of a video. And that's just going to keep going on into infinity down there. Now if I bring up that stopwatch, okay, and then move it to the side, and then stop it. Now we should be able to see a time difference. Well, I got it underneath the picture-in-picture. So let me try it again up here at the top. I'll wait for all that other stuff to clear out of the way and clear the timer. And I'm going to wait till I see that on YouTube the timer is clear. Yeah. So now I'm going to click start. And then drag it off to the side. And then watching the YouTube video, we should be able to see a difference. See there a difference in a few seconds between those two first screens. It only lasts for a brief amount of time that you can see that change. That is the stream delay. Again, I'm on ultra low latency. So I'll come over here and try it again. So there's 29 and 30. Drag to the side. And the difference you see between those two times is the stream delay. Okay, there's my experiment. Successful. And I am redeemed. Let's come back to Harold's computer. It's out there somewhere. Where is it? Oh, this is it. And I'll maximize that window. It completed?
Yes.
Oh, look at there. All right. So then let's, and it opened a recovery G. What is that for? Okay, there it is. Completed in 22 minutes. And then there's operation 5. Clone completed successfully. There's operation 4. Clone completed successfully. Go ahead and click this OK button. After clicking the OK button, it tells us how fast the reads and writes were. So the reads were at 866 megabytes per second. That's really pretty fast for a spinning drive from my observations of Macrium Reflect clones. Although I actually have to say, usually I'm not cloning. Usually I'm creating an image file and then writing at 2.3 gigabytes per second. And before I click away from that screen, I'm going to see if anyone has other questions about that summary screen. Let's see. Android 101 is asking, what brand of laptop is that?
HP Pavilion.
HP Pavilion. And let's see the model number. Do you know that offhand?
I don't.
Okay, I have it. I have that in my records. Let's see. Let me come over here. I'm going to take that off screen for a minute and be sure I don't display something I shouldn't, because I think I have more information about that model right here. If I come up here, let's see. Yeah, I think that's okay to do. And
wrote it down somewhere.
So then here, yeah, it's an HP laptop 15-CC123CL Pavilion. All right. So then coming back to your computer. Frankie says, hello, everyone. Hello, Frankie. Welcome into the stream. We have 27 watching now. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Sam says, last week I have encountered my second failed SSD. Okay, interesting. I was quite impressed that I encountered one because that thing was 2 years old. And it was a NVMe provided by Dell. Okay. Yeah, thank you for reporting that. Not often that SSDs fail, so it's interesting to hear it. Blackwatch, on the side of caution using clone software for the first time, maybe get help at first. ATI and Minitool PW are powerful and do what you say. Now, I'm not sure if you're referring to me using clone Macrium Reflect. I've been using it for years. Sam says it opened G because Windows mounted that disk. Okay. All right. All right. But it seemed to be, looked like it was empty or just had one thing on it. It didn't make sense. So let me open Windows Explorer. Oh, I see. G was one of the other partitions. F is actually the new cloned partition. And G was the recovery partition. That's why I said recovery. Okay, you're right. You're exactly right. Let's see. Then Catherine. Hi, Catherine. Welcome. Glad to see you. Catherine Anna Hauserman in the house. Hello, everyone. She says, I like the video. And Catherine says, hello to me. Hi. Glad to have you here. Greg Lilly says, hi, Catherine. Android. Geez, you would think they could have come up with a better name. Yeah, not sure what name you're referring to. Blackwatch. Hello, Catherine. Good to see you. Okay, she says she's the only mod. Yeah, Catherine's the only mod because she's been pasting links. And I have said before that for my channel on moderators, I do not want moderators blocking or hiding comments or people. I want to deal with those. I have a specific plan in mind for those. And Catherine has moderator status just because she does occasionally paste links, and I'm welcoming her to do that because she does helpful, useful links. And Android G's, you would, okay. Blackwatch says, hello, Catherine. Catherine says hello back to a couple people. Michael says hi to Catherine. Only mod. And Catherine says hello back to a couple people. Then what? Michael Martin saying hello to Catherine. And he says he saw the video with Catherine the other day. Blackwatch. Nope, not you, Doug. Of course, first-time users. Okay, thank you. Understood about not jumping into it with both feet for a cloning software. Good point. And yes, you're right. A first-time user on a cloning software can easily make mistakes that could be very painful. But still, a first-time user that's watched enough videos and really, studied it can be okay. And I see I've kind of got the picture-in-pictures messed up here a little bit. See, what you people are seeing with that picture-in-picture, this one that I'm moving around right now, that's all that Harold sees. Harold doesn't see us side by side on his screen. So I hide the thumbnail he's seeing of me behind the thumbnail you guys are seeing of both of us. Hello, and Android 101. I have had SSDs failed before, cheaper brands, never some Samsung. Okay. I meant the model number of the laptop, and I think I have given that to you now. Okay, so let's move on. Can I do, oh yeah. So in the chat, I'm toggling timestamps on so that I can keep track of chat better. So I left off at 11:14. Now let's close that. And then we can close this. Now this shows both drives have the identical information. If a person were to want to look closer, there's some interesting things. See, there's some differences. 12.98, 12.97, 520.7, 518.4, 86.63, 81.43. So I think what that has to do with is the differences between some temporary system files, for instance, swap file, virtual memory.
Location data, maybe?
Pardon?
Location data?
Location data. Not sure what you're referring to with that.
On a rotating drive, doesn't it have to know where to go to get it?
Okay, well, a file allocation table might be structured differently.
I guess that's what I meant, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that would be the differences. I think it's more likely files that are in use, temporary files that wouldn't be needed or appropriate as part of a clone operation. I'm not certain. I've never looked into why there are that small amount of differences, but it has never seemed to be an issue. So then, closing Macrium Reflect, closing the Macrium website. Now let's see what else we have open. Oh, that's your Zoom window there, Zoom window there. So nothing else open. So now let's talk about how we're going to handle this next piece. I'm going to bring you up on a full Zoom session. So what we're about to do is shut down your computer, which the Zoom session is running on your computer right now. So when we shut down your computer for you to disassemble it, we're going to lose you, but you're going to come in to the Zoom session from your cell phone. Was that your choice, your cell phone or your tablet?
I think I can
okay.
feel the cell phone a little easier.
Okay. So then you're going to use the cell phone to show us in some fashion the disassembly of the laptop and the swapping of the storage drives, and then reassembling the laptop and then turning it back on. So why don't you go ahead and join the Zoom session from your cell phone.
One other question before I go on that. Do I disconnect this the Samsung drive?
I would wait till you shut down the computer. You could
so you don't use the safely remove hardware.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. Go. Let me bring that back up on screen. So you've clicked on the system tray, and I've got to move us out of the way. You did the safely remove drive. Hang on a second. Let me move this out of the way. And move this out of the way. Okay, go ahead and do that again. All right, you have the mouse.
Okay.
So you're clicking on the overflow menu button, and then on the safely remove hardware, and then the eject. And some people might be thinking here, well, Windows can't stop your volume device because a program is still using it. I think we have a Windows Explorer folder open. So click OK on that. And nope, Windows Explorer is not open. So close that. So that is refusing to eject properly. Now, some people might point out that Carrie Holzman has, on a number of occasions, said that with Windows 10 now, you really don't have to do that safely remove, and I agree with that. I still typically kind of do it. I guess old habits die hard. But when there's any question at all or concern that there might be something open on that hard drive, and you really want to take the safest possibility, safest way to deal with it, then shutting down the computer is got to be completely safe. So if you were to disconnect, just remove the USB now. Could there be some file that's not fully recorded to the SSD? I really don't think so, but since we just did a clone to that, we just really don't want to take any chance on anything going afoul with it. So I'm more comfortable with shutting down the computer when the power's off, then unplug it. And I think that's being way overcautious. But that's the way I'll choose to do it. And let's see. So yeah, the last comment was somebody asking if Macrium Reflect is still running, and no, it's not. But what is this one? Let's get the right mouse here. This one down here doesn't identify itself. Oh, that's a Zoom sharing host. So there's two icons on the taskbar for Zoom. Yeah, it's not Macrium Reflect. So let's check the system tray. I don't think Macrium Reflect leaves anything in the system tray. So let's see this one. What's that one? Garmin Express. So let's try right click on the taskbar and then Task Manager, see if there's anything Macrium Reflect in there. In the app section, no. There's Acronis. Remember, Acronis did not uninstall properly. Look at all that Acronis stuff. Acronis is closed. We tried to uninstall it. There's all that Acronis stuff still there. I'm sorry for those of you who love Acronis, but I am not. Look, it just had numbers. It was just using CPU time. When it's closed right now, and we tried to uninstall it. I'm just not there's another Acronis updater just triggered. There's Acronis updater again. Why is Acronis updater trying to check for updates now? I don't get that. That doesn't make sense. Going down, Macrium Reflect. So there is some Macrium Reflect stuff still running. User interface watcher, utility service, disk imaging, something or other. Now I could end task on those, but that's not a polite thing to do. And it's also coming up with some numbers. All right, so both of them are coming up with some numbers. I'd rather just shut the computer down and then unplug it. Because I don't know what's going on there, that doesn't make sense. It should be doing that. All right, so let's go ahead and get you in on the cell phone, and then we'll end your Zoom connection on the computer. Then you'll shut the computer down. Okay, so there we got kind of 3 images there, and I'm going to click to exit or leave the session on your computer and leave meeting. Now I've got you on cell phone. And can you turn the cell phone sideways? It gives us a better image. Yeah. And now we're still looking at your computer. I'm going to go, let's see.
I need to turn.
Are we going to get feedback? I'm shutting down your laptop.
I need to make it go the other way. There should be a button on here to switch it to the other view, right?
Is sliding left and right would switch to different views, gallery view or individual view? Is that what you mean?
Well, I want the camera to be in front.
Oh, okay. The way you do that is click on, if you touch the screen, it should pop up some icons.
Oh, there it is.
And you're going to change the video setting. There you go. Got the camera switched. Okay. So now are you able to prop the phone there somewhere? And while you're trying to find a place to do that, I'm going to catch up on chat. And so I remember, you know what? I knew that I should write down the timestamp of where I left off. and I didn't. So now I got myself a piece of paper that I will write down timestamp times. Because it looks like we got a lot going on in chat. Let's see. There we go. 11:14. I remember that. Remember that number. Viv says hi to Catherine. I've got at 11:17 a.m. For those of you who are interested in coordinating with my timestamps, if you click on the kebab menu in the upper right corner, that's those three dots, and you can turn timestamps on. Now you're going to be in different time zones, but the minute portion is going to be the same. So when I look at 11:17, whatever time zone you're in, the 17 a.m. is from Viv saying hi to Catherine. I watched the Bertrand video. Sorry about spelling. Did you build your new computer? I've not found your video yet. I know Catherine's going to, or excuse me, Catherine's going to respond to that. Catherine, did you have a computer build on YouTube Sunday? Catherine responds, I could not stream that day. They took the grid off to do maintenance. Blackwatch, watch the recorded live. You and Doug hope AC is in your future. JK, Catherine, stay cool. Air conditioning. He's referring to, Blackwatch is referring to Catherine's apartment being kind of warm, and she's had air blowing through it, which is kind of making some noises. Then Catherine, I intend to do it on 1st of May. So Catherine's planning to do her build on the 1st of May and live stream it. I'm going to switch. Let's see. Where do I want to go there? I guess this way's better. Until Harold, I don't have you on screen right now as you're moving things around there. So let me know when you're ready to be on screen again. Once you got your phone set up, how you like it?
Well, I have a hard time seeing what I'm looking at on this view, but that's should be pointing at my computer now.
Oh, actually, yeah, that looks fine. I just switched back to it. That looks absolutely fine. Just go ahead and start disassembling. If you close the lid, just turn it completely upside down. And so you're still right there in front of the camera. And if you can slide it forward a little bit or turn the camera a little bit to the right, we get a better view. So that if you can see where the camera lens is pointing and then have the computer right in front of the camera lens, and we can watch that. So I have you back on screen now.
Is that good?
Yep, perfect. Go for it.
All right.
And
So,
go ahead.
Does it matter what screws we remove first?
Nope, but you've got a method in.
I'm looking for the, I don't see a screw by the optical drive.
Okay. Do you see those vent slots?
Vent slots.
Okay, just go ahead and put your finger on the back and I can direct you.
Well, here's the vents.
Right there. Perfect. Now just towards you from those vents, you should find the screw opening.
There's one. Yeah, there's one.
No, it's not that one. It's not that one. That one's not even in line with it. It's right about where your screwdriver is now. It should be.
There's no screws there.
Oh, really? Okay, can you hold the laptop up to the camera so that we can see the bottom in that area? Yeah, I see a screw.
Where?
Move your... Yeah, okay, now move that upward to the sky, higher.
This one?
Right there. That's it, right there.
That's it? Oh, that's way in there.
Yep, that's it. When you take it out, you'll see, think of a CD, how large a CD would be inside there.
That's true.
And if we did print that page out, then it would have been obvious to you because it would have shown on the page where that screw is. Okay.
All right. What I did was mark that screw with a black Sharpie and circled the hole where it came out of.
Okay. So you have a black Sharpie mark on the bottom of your laptop now.
Now, to remove this drive, I have to put a pin in that hole, right?
No. Putting a pin in the hole would be to eject a disk that's in there. You do not need to open the tray.
Oh, okay.
Just use your fingernails around the edge of the CD drive on both sides so that you're trying to wiggle it out together. Don't pull one side unevenly. And you actually want to use the bottom surface according to the laptop, not the sides. There you go. There, that's coming. That's coming.
Got it.
There you go. Now show that to the camera so that people can have an idea and show where that screw went into.
Okay, the screw went in back here.
Right. Okay, that's it.
And so that's the CD-ROM drive.
Yep.
Called optical drive in the written instructions.
Right. And first time a person comes across that word, they're saying, "What's an optical drive?" And it's an optical drive because the data is stored on the drive visually, optically, using lasers and light.
Okay, I'm removing the other screws that are not under the feet.
And you're putting them in some kind of an order that you'll be able to put them back in the correct locations?
Actually, what I'm doing is standing them up, so I'm making sure that I have all the same sizes. So I've got them standing up on their heads.
Okay.
So I can make sure that I have the same size.
And how are you going to know which holes that those particular size screws go into?
Well, so far I'm just circling the holes with a Sharpie.
Okay, does that somehow distinguish different sizes?
Well, so far it is because those 3 screws are all the same size.
Okay, when you get to a screw of the different size, were you going to do something different to?
Yeah, I'm going to have to figure something different now. Then.
Don't have that yet.
Okay, I'm removing the rubber feet.
All right. And how many screws did you find underneath that rubber foot?
Okay, this is from the front of the laptop, I believe. And there's one under that left side. And
Okay.
now I'm removing the front right. And there's one under that one.
Okay.
And I'm going to remove those screws.
Now you also have the sheet of paper that shows which length screws go into which holes, correct?
Correct.
So that's really the way you're going to be able to make sure you've got things right.
Correct. So what I'm doing there is I'm putting the screw on the paper.
All right, we just lost your camera on your cell phone.
Uh-oh.
Maybe it's a swipe left or right to get it back on. Oh.
What's it say? Low battery. Oh, gosh.
Uh-oh. Well, you better go get a charger for that. Let's see, and I'm seeing I have lost the YouTube video. What is going on? Chat, do you still have me? Am I still streaming? Yes, I'm still streaming. I don't know how I got closed out of YouTube on my computer here. I know I'm way behind in chat, but Harold's work takes priority. And I'm I'm seeing a couple times that Catherine has addressed something directly to me, but it doesn't look like a streaming issue. And Catherine, we do have already printed out the instructions for how to do it. There. Getting back to my 1117, let's see, there's the back and forth about Catherine's build. And
I know I should have charged my cell phone last night.
Okay. 1119, Frankie says your picture is fuzzy, not clean. I think, are you, Frankie B, referring to me, my camera? My Zoom camera does tend to mess up focus on occasion, but it looks okay to me now. Does it still not look right to you? And then let's see. All right, then 1119, Carl, back in approximately 2012, I had an OCZ Vertex SSD fail. And a year or so later, Vertex 2 failed. Both held my AutoCAD files. Luckily, I was backed up. Have not had an SSD fail since. And you, Harold, we lost your phone again. And for those of you who are noticing, Harold goes by both names, Ulysses and Harold. So you're seeing Ulysses' phone right now on screen. And Ulysses is Harold.
What's happening? Why isn't my
did you get a charger on it?
I thought I did. But for some reason it's not working.
Okay, maybe connect and reconnect both ends of the charger and make sure you get a charging signal. Maybe you need to go back to your home screen to see it actually indicate that it's charging.
Okay, now it is.
Okay. Let's go back here then and see when you come back on. So then, Carl, I'm going to disagree with you. You said luckily you were backed up. That was not luck. That was your good behavior. You did that. You made sure you were backed up. Not lucky. Viv, what grid is that? The electricity grid. Catherine says this is the link for the replacement of the drive from iFixit. We've got our replacement instructions from the manufacturer. Ken says, Catherine Anna Hauserman, great, what time May 1st, referring to her custom build stream. Android 101, just shut down and remove. It's not able to eject because it's running. Just shut down and remove. It's easier that way. I agree totally. Catherine says, I sent the link for the how-to SSD on that model. Carl says, is Macrium Reflect running? No. Well, it had background components still running. So did Acronis. I think you probably saw that after your comment in chat. Catherine at 1200 Columbia time, which is 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, not Pacific Standard Time. Sam says, the only way I'm safely removing a USB is if the drive is encrypted so that it can close the drive properly. That's reasonable. Android is running in the background. Yes, that's for sure. Service probably. Android 101 says, just shut down and remove. It's not able to eject because it's running. Just shut down and remove. It's easier that way. Saves you any headaches. Yes, I agree. And Ulysses, Ulysses Harold, we still don't
Sorry about that.
We don't have camera on you.
Oh, we lost it again?
Yeah. Let's see. Carl
trying to
says
do two things at once here. What's it saying here? What's new in home? Don't need that. I don't know why it keeps switching off.
Yeah, I'll try to be more prompt about letting you know.
Where are we here?
1123, Carl says you might have to restart the computer, then uninstall the Acronis. We will try that. after we got the new drive in. Sam says, restart will let you uninstall. I think that's probably right. Android says, yeah, just shut it down. Sam says, the SSD need to be installed first, of course. Yes. Black Watch says, Doug, is that ATI 2021? A lot changed. I do not have AT 2021 on purpose. I am not a guinea pig. ATI 2021. I'm struggling to know what you mean by ATI 2021. Catherine says, well, LOL to Black Watch. Viv, a Cronus icon is the desktop. I do not think you uninstalled it when you have access to the new disk. Viv says,
All right, Doug, all the screws are out. Two of the, there's two screws under the rear foot, and they're both the same size on the right and the left.
So, did each of the rear feet have two screws?
Each of the rear feet have two screws.
Oh, okay.
And they're black in color.
Okay.
Whereas everything else is silver or chrome or whatever you call that.
Okay. And then in addition to the two screws under the rear feet, was there another screw at that back corner of the laptop?
No.
All right. I'm thinking that
I'm looking on the drawing again, and they show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I've got 9 screws out.
Okay. They told you should have 9 screws, and you have 9 screws.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, wait a minute. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Now you also have the DVD screw, which would be a 10th screw.
1, 2,
and it's not going to show on that page.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, you're right. They don't show that one. 2, 4.
Well, that's
6, 8,
that's
10.
because the removal of the DVD drive was on a different page of the manual.
Right.
So that page isn't going to show the DVD screw.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 out.
Okay. So do you remember what's next? Whoops, we lost your video again.
The heck is going on? Oh, it's saying low battery again.
Are you charging from a portable battery or from an electrical outlet?
Portable battery.
Sometimes they don't keep outputting. I've seen that on my own portable battery.
Yeah, it looks like that's what's happening here. So, okay, I'm going to need to get some other sort of charging system going then.
Yeah, you go ahead and focus your attention on that, and I'm going to take you
my dog wants to
off
bark.
camera.
Kelly. Hey.
Okay, so I'm going to come over this way and catch up on some stuff. Some comments in chat. 11:29. It's Viv says it's 4:27 a.m. here. You're a glutton for punishment. Yes. Oh, Viv. And I told Viv. I don't think I've told other people yet. I don't think I've said it in this live stream, but Carrie Holzman is going to be in a live stream with me this Sunday, and we're 4 p.m. Pacific time. Although in my last communication with Carrie, I don't think we handled the time zones correctly. So That might be a little bit different. But what he's going to do, he asked about Tim's undeletable file folder. So some of you recall the videos that I did with Tim. He's got a few undeletable file folders. We tried a bunch of different stuff, and Carrie wants to take a crack at it. So we're going to do that Sunday. That should be a fun session. So check up on my channel on Sunday. There should be a scheduled live stream that you'll be able to see.
All right.
And, you got something?
Hopefully I've got another battery on my phone, and it'll hold for a while till I get this project done.
Okay.
Okay. All the screws are out. So.
Okay. I'm suspecting that you don't remember what piece happens next, so I'm prepared to explain it to you.
It says insert a case utility tool or similar thin plastic tool into the display hinge area.
Okay, you do have that instruction.
On the bottom cover. So the display hinge area. I have a handy dandy little tool here.
Okay.
And I just pry that up.
Can you rotate the laptop so the back edge is facing the camera? Yeah, beautiful.
How's that?
Beautiful.
So I'm prying right here.
Okay. Now, if you can pry both sides at the same time, that would be ideal. There you go. You see it lifting. And just be slow about it. There's no hurry. There's clips all around the perimeter of that bottom panel. Well, not all around it, various different spots. And the instructions from the manufacturer's manual for this gives you very beautiful, clear instructions with illustrations for removing all the components in the computer. And it tells us what components and parts to remove to get to the hard drive. So it tells us to start near the hinges at the back. And if a person were to just go after it because they've disassembled laptops before and they say, oh, I know how to do this, I don't like that approach, because a lot of times these laptops will have surprises, things that you haven't done it that way before, because they're all put together a little bit differently. So you keep working.
So I've got the back loose.
Okay.
Sort of.
Are we hearing some snaps from the back coming
Yeah.
up? Okay, that's good. So now when you've got both sides, you've kind of got them up, and then maybe it pulls itself back down. The next way I like to go about it is rotate the laptop around so that you can put your hands over the laptop, reaching to the back of it, and pulling up from the back and working your fingers around the edges. Yeah, along those lines.
Yeah, it doesn't want to seem to release.
And that's a true statement. The second time you open it, it tends to open up easier.
I would imagine so, yeah.
The first time can be a little scary. You feel like, how much pressure do I need to put? And you keep going back to your tool and fingers on the side and then work the other side, and it'll keep snapping itself back into place, and eventually it'll just get easier to keep the back separated from the clips with your fingers.
Oh, I think I see where the, you see this right here?
Yeah?
I think those are clipped in. Those are the clips you're talking about? Where it's, you see where it's
No.
lifted up here?
Yeah, I do see where it's lifted up there, but that's not, I don't think that's the clips. Do you see any screws in that area where you're just touching with your finger?
No.
Okay. Yeah, oh, that's a nice light. Can you bring that closer to the camera? That's kind of a strange looking image from here. If you imagine putting the DVD drive back in place, it looks like it would not slide in right now because there's...
Oh, no, because the plastic right here is lifted up with the back of the case.
Yeah.
But it's not popping out from the bottom of the case. See now.
Okay, I saw that go back down.
So it's like maybe these have to pop out of there's little black tabs.
That could be. That could be.
You see the black tabs?
Yes, yes.
So they have to come out of those black tabs, I would imagine.
Do those black tabs look like they would that the case needs to slide one direction or the other for them to release?
No.
Okay. Did we print out the piece of the instructions that talks about prying open the back of the case? You already read that, so I know you have that piece, but do you have the rest of it?
It says insert a case utility tool or similar plastic tool into the display hinge area. Bottom cover, separate the rear edge from the bottom of the cover from the keyboard top cover.
Yeah.
Insert a case utility tool or similar thin plastic tool into the optical drive area of the bottom cover. Separate tabs 4 built into the, that's what they're talking about.
Yes, they're talking about that right there. So that's why I directed your attention. Tabs. I directed your attention back to that because there might be specific wording about it. Yes, so that is.
So we have to
exactly
lift that up again.
Yeah, can you get that part in front of the camera as you're working on it? Not that I want to make your job more difficult or anything.
Why it does not want to, it doesn't want to pop out of that. Wow.
Okay. Just try working on that part itself without worrying about the back. Is that plausible? Well,
I have to lift that back portion up to get that section high enough to, and I'm trying to do it with
Do you have a second tool?
Well, what I can do is put something in there. Once I get this one in, then I can use that. Let's see what I can put in there to hold that.
Harold, hold on a second. Have you removed 11 screws in total?
4, 8, 9, 10, 11, yes.
Yes, you have. Okay.
The 11th one is is the one for the optical drive.
The optical drive, yeah.
6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You know, there's no screws left in the back though, and I don't. There's
no, I think you've got all the screws. I only asked about the 11 because Catherine had counted up the number, and I thought previously you had stated 9 or 10.
There's 2 in the front that I didn't get.
I was turned away. Did you just remove 2 more screws?
I'm removing 2 more, yeah.
Oh.
That are in the very front.
Were they on the sheet to be removed?
And these are not. These are 2 little short ones that were in the very front.
Can you turn the computer so we can see the holes where those were?
Right here.
Okay.
It doesn't show those.
Those aren't shown on the sheet.
Well, maybe they are. Yeah, they are.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Well, does that mean now that you've removed 13 screws?
2, 4, 6, 9, 10. That's 11.
That's 11.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 11 with the optical drive.
Okay.
There we go. It's just being cantankerous.
Yeah. They'll do that. And if you're not patient with it, you can break it. You can break pieces of plastic. So best to just.
Okay, now the optical drive pads are removed.
Yes.
Right, this is not wanting to come apart.
Responding to Ken's question about the battery is inside the computer. You have to remove the back before you can remove the battery.
There we go. Aha. I think we're getting somewhere now.
Yes.
I like that popping noise.
Oh, it's a very satisfying sound. I was watching a video of somebody making Ethernet cables, and they're just thrilling at the sound of plugging an Ethernet cable into a port. There we go.
There's the case removed.
Okay. Now, I suggest you get a little bit acquainted with the tabs that were holding it in, so you have an awareness of where they are, what they look like, and look around for broken pieces.
Luckily, I didn't break anything.
Good.
But I see what what it is that holds it together.
Yeah, it's just a little tiny piece of plastic. It's kind of hard to believe that's all it is. And also sometimes hard to believe it didn't break.
Yeah, I don't see any broken ones.
Okay, I'm sure you're fine. Can you hold the innards towards the camera so we can see what it looks like?
I
And
can do a
yeah, there you go.
tour.
There you go. So somebody had asked a question whether the battery was removed. Can you point out where the battery is?
This is the battery.
Yeah. So you can't remove it until you have the computer disassembled. Can you point out the hard drive?
And the hard drive is here.
Yeah.
Back.
And then the DVD opening we can see there.
That's here.
Yeah.
Okay, next step, remove the battery, right?
Do you have that on your instructions?
Okay, remove the bottom cover. That's 7. Now,
Yep.
Before removing the battery, follow these steps. Shut down the computer, disconnect all external devices, disconnect the power from the AC adapter, remove the optical drive, remove the bottom cover, remove the battery, remove 4 Phillips screws that secure the battery and the keyboard top cover.
There you go.
And then remove the battery. So now I need to look for the screws.
Let's consider that a little closer. We noticed it. One of the pieces of instructions about the removing the hard drive, they wanted you to remove an end of the cable that we wound up discussing. Not really sure you need to do that. And I'd also have to question: do we really need to remove the battery? Does it look like the hard drive will come out without removing the battery?
It does.
Because how about just disconnecting the battery rather than unscrewing it? Because they gave you instructions for removing the hard drive that included removing the battery, but the only reason why they gave you the instructions for removing the battery instead of just disconnecting it is because that's the only thing they have in there about the battery, is how to remove it.
I don't think you can disconnect it without removing it.
Ah, okay, perfect. It's not a cable then. It's
You're right.
It's probably an edge connector.
It's an edge connector on the main board.
Okay, then let's go ahead and remove the battery. Perfect.
Okay, it's 3 screws to remove the battery, 2 in the back, and then 1 on the left side of the connector.
It's been referred to by Pachaco like doing heart surgery remotely. Blackwatch, so thought you meant the motherboard battery. Frankie B, the Vide. Viv, it is fine. Oh, she's referring to this. My question about the stream. Bruin says hi to Catherine.
Okay, the battery's been removed.
Okay.
Oh, it's a little dusty on the bottom.
The housekeeper hasn't been doing her job around there, huh?
Okay. All right, battery has been removed.
Okay.
And now comes the hard drive. And I don't see anything holding it in other than
Correct.
some plastic. Looks like it's just laying in there.
Yeah. Now the instructions told you to disconnect the inboard side of the cable, the ribbon cable, before removing the hard drive. But when we were looking at it, it looked like maybe you can just remove the edge connector from the back of the hard drive. You might have to pull the hard drive up a little bit to get enough space to do that. Can you hold the computer up to the camera so we can see a good close view of the hard drive area?
How's that?
Turn it on its side so that we can see the where the cable is. And you can point out where the cable is. So there's the blue edge of that cable. Maybe you could point to it with something. I don't think we need the light.
Okay. Here's the blue edge.
Yeah. So that has a ZIF connector that you would lift up like with a fingernail, and there's a little ribbon cable to pull out. And it's kind of a difficult thing to put back in. And there's that blue tab is kind of a piece of tape almost. It's not tape, but you can grip it to be able to maneuver that. But don't do that.
No, I was just
you can
kind of,
yeah, you can pull it up so that to demonstrate that it's like a finger tab. And the screwdriver is not the best thing to do with. I'd rather use that plastic thing you have.
yeah, I was just using that to show you how the blue tab lifts.
Okay, yeah. So you can grip it with your fingers. Now then the other end of the connector where it's connected to the hard drive just pulls off of the back of the hard drive, and it's that black pin connector. So are you able to pull that off before removing the hard drive, or do you need to lift the hard drive up out of the case?
No, I'll have to lift the hard drive out of the case because there's a bar that holds that.
Okay.
It keeps
so
that.
Not enough clearance.
Right.
Yeah. So go ahead and pull the hard drive up. I kind of waddle it out, lift a little bit up on each side, and yeah, there you go. Waddle. Technical term, waddle.
Yeah, I like that. There we go.
And without putting any strain on the cable, and then just go ahead and pull that connector off.
And the connector is now removed. The hard drive is out.
Okay, can you hold the hard drive stable for the camera?
Sure, just a second. I'm going to turn another overhead light on.
Okay.
And there's the...
Yeah, so I wanted to point out the rubber rails on the sides, rubber or plastic, whatever those are, and show us the side. It was a question mark whether they're screwed in, but they just have pins that go into the screw holes.
Right.
Okay, can you give us a good show of those side rails with the pins? Don't move it around so fast because it takes a minute to
Sorry about that.
Settle. Yeah. So then rotate that slowly so they can see the pins.
Here are those spots that go in.
Yeah, rotate it for a profile view. There's the pins. There we can see the pins in profile view. And those go right into the screw holes on the side. And it's just a press fit. They're not really much of a press fit, but just push it in. Okay. So now we already lost a piece that I had mentioned, is I like to set both drives down side by side before removing the side rails to make it easier to get the side rails on in the correct orientation.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, you pull those off a little bit too quick. So maybe you try to put those right back onto the old drive and test to see whether they only go in one way. Sometimes it's real obvious. So if you try to put them on backwards or upside down, you can tell that, nope, it only goes one way. It might not be the case.
So you want me to put it back on the old drive?
Yeah, because that's your best way to ensure that it looks the same as how you took it out, and that the edge connector is on the correct side, and you might even try putting it right back into the slot. Be sure that you have them right. If you find that you cannot turn those edge rails upside down or put them on the wrong side, then it's a much safer thing. And we know there's only one way for those edge rails to be mounted.
You're right. It's tricky. They can go all kinds of different ways.
Right. So you need to just take your time with it and figure out how best that it fits in. Because if there's multiple ways you can mount those rails on the side of the drive, you need to try each variation and try putting the drive
Yeah,
back
because
in.
you can see that they're different.
Yeah.
See that? This one has a different end on that, where these ends are the same. Can you see that? This end is
There's black in the background, so it's hard to see them. If you can lower them down towards the CD drive, yeah, there you go. A piece of paper behind it would help. Okay, yeah, so there's a little tab at the end of each of those ends except for one of them.
yeah. This one doesn't have the same tab.
So I would expect
because I didn't do a good job of ensuring where they were. Hang on.
Yeah.
I wish I could figure out how to put that phone on mute. So now I got to figure out how to, which way it's got to mount.
Does the diagram show those differences? I don't think the diagram is detailed enough to really see those tabs.
No, I don't have a diagram of that.
All right.
Well, maybe. Okay, that way doesn't seem to work. So let me go the other way. There's a whole bunch of different combinations now. Well, at least I know which way the drive goes in.
Just from the edge connector, and also upside down and right side up, right?
Correct.
Because you saw, I think you saw the circuitry side of the board of the drive was visible.
Yes.
Where you can see that spindle.
Right. And on the other side, you can't.
Yeah, the other side just a solid. So I'm thinking there may be some physical differences in the actual slot that it goes into, that 3 of those might accommodate those tabs and the 4th does not.
Correct. Okay, now I've got the proper orientation, I think. No. maybe. Yes. No. Yes. Okay, now I know which way they go for sure. Because
Okay.
these tabs,
Yeah.
do you see where I'm pointing these tabs here?
Yes.
These tabs go into a slot on the back of the drive.
Okay.
So, and the where the drive inserts into the board,
The bay. The
the bay.
drive
Yeah,
bay.
thank you. These slots go into that slot on the bay.
Okay.
So that's the proper orientation.
And then on the other end, I'm suspecting one side of the drive has a place for one of those tabs, and the other side of the drive does not accommodate one of those tabs.
On this side, yeah,
So you're
yeah,
showing us the side that has the edge connector.
right, and then this is a tab that this side doesn't.
Okay, so that the side that doesn't have a tab in the drive bay, is there no space that a tab could be there?
That's correct.
Yes. Okay, perfect.
You can't put it in the other way.
That tells us that that rail could not ever go on the other side of the drive, and that that rail could not go upside down.
Correct.
So that's the jigsaw puzzle. I think you got it back together. So now you put the old drive and the new drive side by side with the edge connectors and the upside down, right side up, so they're in the same orientation, and then move those drive rails from the old drive to the new drive.
Can you see?
Yes, that's a good view with your camera. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to remove this one and put it on this drive, the drive on this side. And then remove this one and take the drive out of the way.
Actually, we still need it. Gonna have another question for you.
Okay.
Now, compare the height of the two drives. The height or the thickness, is the old drive thicker than the new drive?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But the when the rails are on it, they make it pretty level.
Yeah, it holds it into the right position. So I'm just pointing out that it's okay that the new drive is thinner and it doesn't completely fill up that drive bay.
Can you see that?
I think we might need the light to see that difference.
See the thickness there and then the thickness here.
Yeah, the drive on the left is sitting on the table. The drive on the right is held up off of the table by those drive rails.
Correct.
Okay. Bruins 44 has suggested you might want to blow out the dust while you have it open. Do you have a can of compressed air? Do you see any dust? Look around the fans. How many fans are there?
Just one, I think.
Okay. Do you see any dust?
It's very minimal. The only dust I found was really on the bottom of the battery.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's pretty clean.
Okay.
Are we ready to insert?
Yeah, I think so. Ready to put it back in.
So with it still propped up a little, and the back part is inserted, and then I'm going to put the connector back on.
Yeah.
Before I push it all the way down.
And then this will give you a clue. If you had the drive upside down, that connector won't go on because the signal side of the cable would be backwards. So if that cable goes back on, the way you have it oriented is correct.
All right. We're looking good.
Sweet.
Okay, the battery goes back in.
Yep. Vivian asks, is your life an odyssey, Harold? Not quite sure. Oh, is that, well, that's Ulysses. Is that where that comes from?
Yeah,
In the Odyssey, yeah.
I was named after my paternal grandfather.
And
he's from Italy, the northern part of Italy.
Okay. And to fill in the story, Ulysses is his first name. Harold is his middle name. I got that right?
Yep.
Okay. And let's see, Catherine, we have different times in Colombia, no winter, summertime. Yeah, so that's why she didn't recognize the difference between Pacific Standard Time, Pacific Daylight Time. Android, is he giving the laptop a beating? That's why he's turning off the camera. Yeah, that was it. It wasn't a battery problem at all. Pochaco. Hi, Catherine. I'm kind of your neighbor. I live in Venezuela. Well, I know we've got Harold for your information. Let's see. Catherine is from Colombia. Vivian is from Australia.
Columbia, North Carolina?
No, the Colombia is in the country, South America. And I'm not sure if we have any other locations outside of the U.S. If others of you are outside the U.S., go ahead and give us your location.
All right. The hard drive and the battery are back in place.
Okay.
Everything's looking good.
The screws are in for the battery.
Screws are in properly, the one on the left side of the connector and then the two in the back.
Perfect.
We're ready to put the face back on?
Yep.
All right. This is exciting.
Yeah. Home stretch. Blackwatch says, if you plan to phone home, charge your batteries first. Models Harold working on. We said that a couple times. Screws in the front. I think I'm probably back a little bit in the chat trying to catch up, see if there's anything needed to catch. Locking tab for the DVD drive. Yes, you are right, Android. By starting from the other side first, did Harold remove 11 screws? Yeah, let's see. Screws, count the screws. Screws in front, yep, 11 total. Try the other side. Oh, this thing keeps bouncing around on me, this chat window.
Okay, everything went in fine except for this back corner right here. For some reason, it's not, I don't know if you can see that right there. And
yeah.
I pushed pretty firmly on it, but it still doesn't seem to want to snap in place.
Yeah, try pressing in on it as well as up.
Ah, that was it. Perfect. All right, now all they have to do is put all the screws back in.
Okay. Sam says battery does not need to be disconnected on SATA devices. I'll buy that. I've disconnected drives tons of times. Yeah, agreed. Oh, there's a piece we missed. Craig says at one point you were supposed to touch your nose.
Oh, no.
Pachaco saying just unplug it. Yeah. Let's see. Gamer saying hello to Catherine. Viv, Blackwatch, missed your. Well, there it goes, jumping again on. Blackwatch, I missed your question. I was referring to Ulysses Odysseus from ancient Greek. Right. Wintermute says disconnect battery, no need to remove it. Catherine explained it to Viv. Sam's SATA devices can just be hot plug, quick power cycle, black watch. Yep, I forgot. Smack this old head. Ruins, while you have the case open, blow the dust out. If NASA can fly a helicopter on Mars to Earth, we can swap drive remotely. There you go. Yeah, this is fun. Stop jumping around on me. Black watch, I just figured out the at in front of the name to talk to someone. I've been up all night, been up all something. This thing is just driving me nuts, bouncing around. 5:06 a.m. Wednesday in Brisbane, Australia. That's where what time for Vivian right now. There's some communications about how to do the @ sign in chat. No worries, my son-in-law came from Perth, training him to be a Scot. Advice about screws, we got that. Catherine says Harold does a great job with a great big smiley emoji. Thank you. On behalf of
Catherine.
Harold. Sangoat says, Viv, be sure to spell the name correctly, uppercase. That's talking about the chat technique. Catherine lives in Cartagena. Wait a minute. Catherine, yes, I live in Cartagena de Indias. Okay. I guess that's part within Colombia. Yeah, she's in Colombia, so that must be more specifically. Sam says, do you remember my location? Sam, I know you told me. I don't, I'm not remembering it at the moment. Android is from Asia, Singapore. Black watch. Vivian up all night. Good day then. Patrick, greetings from Slovenia.
Oh, Slovenia.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Oh, awesome. Bruins reminding us make sure the correct length of screw goes in the right holes.
Yeah. I'm double and triple checking now.
Christoph is from Austria near Germany. Sam is watching from the Netherlands. And Christoph says, have you already cloned the old hard drive to the new SSD? Yes, we have. Blackwatch says, good stuff, Harold. You are gonna get her done.
All right, I'm ready to put the optical drive back in.
Okay.
It's pretty obvious which way it goes back in.
Yeah. We have 28 watching now. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We are on the home stretch. Harold has cloned his existing spinning hard drive to the new SSD hard drive. He just finished installing it, turning the laptop over now. And I'll open the computer and start it up, and everybody's got their fingers crossed. I feel like I should do one of those golf announcer voices, real quiet, subdued. We don't disturb the person who's under the pressure right now. Craig says he's from lat 37.1661, longitude 93.248 negative. Have you been there, Harold?
No.
Catherine says, yes, I thought you live in Netherlands because of the Van Til, but the Dutch also, and it just bounced away from me. But the Dutch also have Aruba. Sam says that's quite specific, Craig. Bruins, Doug, and Harold, great job. Thank you. Thank you, Bruins. I thank you, Bruins. Keep looking this way because this is where I have the chat window. Oh, and also I'm looking at the wrong screen. I should be looking at the streaming screen. Luckily, nothing went wrong.
Only one thing. I lost one of the feet.
Oh, well, Patako just said, don't forget the rubber feet.
Yeah. Well, I lost. I don't know what happened to it. Well,
I remember you putting them up on that ledge.
Yeah. All right, we ready to turn it on?
Yeah, maybe the rubber foot is inside the laptop.
Could be, but
Catherine, I was in San Francisco. Ken says, Doug, going to EAA in Oshkosh. No, I am not, Ken. I've been to EAA Oshkosh. That's Experimental Aircraft Association. Harold, I'm sure, has been there for AirVenture. But when I was there, it was not for AirVenture. It was for a leadership conference. I don't travel well. So no, I never did make that a regular for me. So Ken, apparently you are an EAA member and probably a pilot. Can we see the screen as it's starting up?
Yeah, it came up with some kind of checksum error.
Yeah, that's probably from recognizing different hardware. Because the hard drive is different hardware. That looks good. There's a login screen.
Everything sure looks normal.
Yeah. And you just became available to me. So with a cloned hard drive, the unattended remote access survives that. And actually, if I had left the connection live, well, I'm not sure if it would have automatically reconnected. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one, but I can reconnect to it. So I am connecting now. We'll have you back on screen here. The computer back on screen momentarily. And here it's coming up. There it is. There is Harold's desktop on screen. You can see it both on through his cell phone on the Zoom session and through my remote connection. Is there anything else we want to do as part of this? I'm not going to bother with a speed test. Everybody knows the improved performance of an SSD well enough, or there's plenty of other places to see that. And I don't even know that there's a reason to go back on Zoom. Harold, do you think of anything that...
Let's shut it down and restart it to make sure that it comes up quick.
There you go. Let's go ahead. You're holding your cell phone camera, so I'm going to click on the Windows button, and we'll just see how long it takes to do a restart.
Since the first time it had to figure out it had new software or hardware.
Right. So I'm also going to bring up my stopwatch. Let's see how I can position it here properly. Okay, so then here's the restart. So I'm clicking that, and then, oops, bring that stopwatch back and got it started a little late. So we don't see your screen at all right now. I've got a message up here on my remote software saying it's rebooting. And the timer for my remote connection reset to 0, and it's counting forward now. We still see the cell phone image through the Zoom connection. And there's your first image on the cell phone. And then your password. And
That's pretty quick.
Yeah, you got, oh, I didn't stop. So there's 45 seconds. I started the stopwatch late and stopped it late. So yeah, 45-second reboot. And what was your recollection of how long it would take on your old spinning hard drive?
Oh, probably at least 2 minutes.
2 minutes. So we think we're from 2 minutes down to 45 seconds. Sounds good to me. Now, as far as your usage of the computer, last session we did some work on speeding up your computer by uninstalling some programs and stopping some background tests, correct?
Right.
And then, was it the same session that we ordered the SSD, or were those separate sessions?
I think those were separate.
Yeah, those were separate sessions, that's right. So
let's see if we can get rid of that Accountus. What was that? Acronis.
Oh, Acronis. Sure. Why don't we go ahead and get you back on the Zoom session? I'm starting it for you. And
is that your phone number?
That is my Skype phone number.
Oh, it looks a lot like a phone number.
Yeah, it is. I made up I got hold of a Skype phone number that was pretty good, and I haven't been using Skype. But it was a convenient way for me to remember it. And did it not accept that? Let's go here, right from that. Join. All right. So that just saved us from going to find the link. And then
okay, I'm going to shut off the cell phone.
Yeah. So let's see, we're going to minimize your Zoom meeting, which allows you to see me, and we're going to stick that right behind my thumbnail of the Zoom meeting, which shows both of us, and we want to try to uninstall Acronis. So you earlier went into Windows settings and then uninstall programs, and then had to go to programs and features. What I do for this is Windows key R appwiz.cpl. Gets me very directly into this screen, and then see if we can uninstall Acronis True Image. That's interesting that is taking that long to draw this screen. Then uninstall, and yes. And clicking uninstall. Then it takes us to this survey thing. I don't care about surveys. There's uninstalling.
Failed again.
Yeah. All right. So The next option for that is Revo Uninstaller. So I'm going to type Revo Uninstaller, and I hit the down arrow key to choose that completed name. And then here's RevoUninstaller.com. That is very not nice of Cronus to not uninstall gracefully. And let's see, free downloads, clean removal of any program from your PC, uninstall, remove. I'm very careful reading before just going to click on a button, because there's a lot of advertisements that a lot of websites will try to trick you into clicking on an advertisement before
Install
getting to
something
what
you don't
really
want.
Yeah. Okay, so here's this cookies things again. I'm going to click agree to get rid of that. Why use Revo Uninstaller? Main features, Windows apps. Learn more, get it on the Play Store, testimonials, subscribe now. Thinking this is probably legitimate up here. Uninstall or remove unwanted program software easily. When I float the mouse over this, down in the bottom left corner, it says RevoUninstaller.com, Revo Uninstaller free download. When I move the mouse away from that, that goes away. So floating the mouse over this and looking in the bottom left corner is an additional confirmation that yes, we're getting what we want, rather than an advertisement. If you give some other address, then it's not what we want. Your 2 years license of Pro is waiting. Not going to buy now. I'm thinking I'll just click on the X in the upper right corner of this window. Get to dismiss that message. And there's Revo Uninstaller freeware on the left. Scans for leftovers, cleaning tools, uninstall Windows apps, and then the paid version would do these things that are showing in X's. And there's a forced uninstall that the free version does not do. All right, and there's also portable. I want to do portable rather than free download, because the free download probably installs on your computer, whereas the portable is just an executable file. It doesn't actually install, which is always preferable. Okay, so why Revo Uninstaller? Learn more. Still haven't got to it yet. Oh, your downloaded version. That's implying we've already downloaded it. I didn't see a download window pop up, so let me go over here and look at downloads and see if it is there. Yes, it is. Maybe I just didn't notice it, wasn't looking in the right place. So then, let's go show in folder. I'm going to move that to a different location. So I'm going to right click on Revo Uninstaller Portable, cut it from this location, expand the C drive, come down to SW Setup, and right click in the blank area, select new folder, and call this Revo Uninstaller. Spelling doesn't matter, but it counts. Right click in the blank area and then paste. And no, that is a zip file. It's gonna, when I extract it, it's gonna probably create another folder structure, which means I could have extracted it from the SW setup folder level. Yeah, see there, Revo Uninstaller, and then Revo Uninstaller Portable, and then there's a folder, Revo Uninstaller Portable. Say that 3 times real fast, I dare you. And it looks like that's the executable right there. I see that we don't have extensions displayed. I'm going to come up to the View menu and put a check mark on File Name Extensions to be sure we know what that file is. Yes, that is executable. Double clicking there. No, I haven't caught up with chat for a while. This is why I'd really like to get a chat assistant. Production manager is what I like to call it. These
There
people
you
that come
go.
back into chat over and over, what I'd really like to do.
That title sounds pretty expensive, though.
Yeah, it does sound like that, doesn't it? A production manager, what that would be is somebody who would come in audio only to the Zoom session so that when there's something in chat that I should pay attention to, that they can direct my attention to it. So I just dropped a hint there, people. If you want to volunteer for that, send an email to me, DougBetts@LiveWindowsTraining.com. Be very helpful. Now, what am I doing? Okay, so this is doing its, is it still scanning?
It was up on the top. Now I don't see it.
Yeah, I think it's finished. So let's go down to Revo Uninstaller, because you can tell people in chat, I cannot watch both the chat screen and work at the same time. And I know you guys have a lot of good value to add. And you might be over there in this chat room screaming at me for attention. And if somebody would volunteer to be able to be on the Zoom call and just guide my attention to it, it'd be really helpful. So we're looking, oh, why did I go? I went down to looking for Revo. I won't need a Cronus. It's at the top. See, somebody on audio on Zoom with us could have caught me with that. I don't mind being caught out for doing something wrong. So then the Cronus True image, and then here's uninstall. And then Revo is going to try to, is first going to make a system restore point. So I'll click continue. It's going to try to use the native uninstaller from Acronis to see, here's that same window. This is Revo trying to use Acronis's uninstall program. And I think it's waiting for me to click uninstall, sure enough. And if that fails or doesn't clean everything up, then Revo can try to do more. So here again is the survey. I don't care about no surveys. Sorry if that offends you. Uninstalling. Boy. The last thing I see in chat right now is from Vivian. I would volunteer, but I don't like the hours. Most of my streams, she's asleep. Uninstallation failed. View details. I'll close this. And then performing the initial analysis and uninstall. This is from Revo. Creating system restore point failed. What? Does that mean the system restore point failed? That's weird and concerning. Analyzing and starting the program's built-in uninstaller for the default uninstall. After the program's uninstaller has finished, press the scan button to start scanning for leftover files, folders, and registry items. There's these scanning modes. We could use safe mode, which would be minimal, or moderate, or advanced, which would be the more aggressive. When I float the mouse over it, it tells us that this includes the moderate mode and performs a deep and thorough scan to find all the application's leftover information. So I'm inclined to do moderate as the default choice that the program offers. Then if we still found more Acronis items in the task manager, then we would come back and do advanced. So here's a scan button, and it starts working on it. I'm going to scroll back up in the chat to 12:29 on the timestamps to see if I can catch up on stuff. And I'm not necessarily going to read them all. Christoph, Austria near Netherlands. Harold, good stuff. I already read these. Did I not write down my time? Harold, if you'll call out to me when that finishes.
It did.
Oh, it did? All right. Oh, there's Oshkosh up and running. Blackwatch says, careful, Harold, that you do not get a speeding ticket with that new SSD.
So far, I'm not really overly impressed.
That was 12:30. You're not overly impressed with what? The speed?
So far. I mean, I haven't test drove it that much, but I mean,
Yeah.
based
Well,
on what
here's the thing. To put a voice of reason and balance, there's a lot of hype and chatter about SSD speeding up a computer, and the most significant thing it speeds up is startup time.
yeah,
And a lot of times your actual use, depending upon what you actually do with the computer, you might not notice all that much difference. It really depends upon what you do with the computer, whether you're going to notice a big difference in speed. Am I kind of late in telling you that?
no,
Were you aware of
I mean,
that?
it's obviously working faster, but I
Yeah.
mean, maybe my expectations were higher. But that's okay. I love having the SSD.
Yeah. Yeah. That length of time that it took for it to populate the add remove programs window was not pleasing. Okay, so here, found leftover registry items. So this is showing all the stuff it found left over in the registry. And look at this scroll box, how tiny it is. If I hold down the mouse and scroll down, this is all Acronis stuff. See all the word Acronis? You see it all over the place there. So it's telling us all of this stuff is leftover Acronis stuff. Now, Acronis is not unique in leaving so much litter. That's pretty common among programs, and that's why utilities like Revo Uninstaller find a home. So if I click on this highest level checkbox, then that should put check marks in everything, meaning it's going to remove everything Acronis. So there's a single left click, check marks show up on everything. And I have to confess, for full disclaimer, I haven't used Revo Uninstaller for a long time. Haven't come across an occasion where I cared enough to use it. I have seen programs that failed to uninstall properly, and they just didn't have significant consequences. So I've just left them and moved on. So that's all selected, clicking next. Now this is just registry items. We're not done after this. Looking back at 1234 on the timestamps, neighbors, great up and running from Catherine, Blackwatch, the speeding ticket. Well done. Oh, scrolling. Christoph says much quicker. Just jumps up and down. So, oh, I know. I'm going to put the chat in a separate window. Let's see. Hide user. In message, report, remove. User. Oh, where's break? There's a way to break out the chat. There it is. Pop out chat. I'll bet this will be easier. The way that scrolling around is driving me nuts. Oh, that's finished. It says finish. Found leftover file. Oh, this is files and folders now. See, it finished removing the registry items. So here's a scroll box again, really tiny. So if I drag this down, all of this is Acronis clutter. 175 folders, 2,373 files, 1.64 gigabytes of debris. So here's a select all button. That puts check marks in all of them, and then click finish. Are you sure you want to skip the deletion of found leftover files? What? No, I don't want to delete it. Oh, okay, say no. I selected all and then have to hit the delete button here rather than finish. Are you sure that you want to delete the selected items? Yes. Let's see. Both. Or scroll back up. All right, click now, uninstall the Cronus from Sam. Bruins, maybe see if there are any Windows updates for drivers. BH Ringer says, check to see if a Cronus is still installed and running. We're on that. Catherine, did he install Samsung Magician? Have not done that. We may wind up doing it. I'm not as big a fan on that. Carl tried to uninstall a Cronus. Blackwatch, what software is Doug using for that digital stopwatch? Cool. All right, let me see if I can answer that. Called Stopwatch Free. And I didn't have any particular reason to choose it. I just did a Google search one day and picked it. Oops. I don't see any other identification of what that is. So I just say Google it, stopwatch free. Let me know when that's done there, Harold.
Okay.
Carl, make sure it's not running down on the extended taskbar. Okay. Blackwatch, in my opinion, Windows 10 needs no uninstaller, and what uninstaller removes the uninstaller? And Blackwatch, Doug, the portable, did not know they offered that. Yes, always look for a portable version of any utility. Viv says it's a great tip for hovering on the download. Absolutely, always do that. And that's where she said she would volunteer but don't like the hours. Viv says maybe a Cronus need to be shut down before uninstalling. A Cronus should have warning telling you to shut it down. And we didn't launch it after restarting the computer. It shouldn't have been running. Frankie B says good job. Sane Goat, it's time to max out the RAM. He's saying to make it faster. No, I'd have to take issue with that. I disagree. Catherine says it has 12 gigabytes of RAM. Adding RAM's not going to make it go faster in my experience. There could be other issues. Slowing it down, we can get into that. Of course, fresh install of the operating system is always a reliable way to get the maximum performance out of a computer. Blackwatch, will a Cronus 2021 not resist uninstalling or at least a message? A little difficult time in interpreting your question. This was a Cronus 2021 and it did resist or fail to uninstall properly. Bruins, try the Cronus cleanup tool. That's another good thing. Anytime a program fails to uninstall properly, a lot of them have uninstall tools. I think it's embarrassing that they would need to have an uninstall tool. Why not make your program properly uninstall itself? Programs, it seems like they tend to focus their creation efforts on creating usefulness. Okay, that's great. And they don't put so much effort into uninstalling or even testing their uninstall capability after Windows updates have occurred. Bruins, try the Cronus cleanup tool. Yeah, that would have been a reasonable thing to go. And probably even better, honestly, than Revo Uninstaller. That really would have been a good thing to do. Carl, you need to hit the delete button. You're absolutely correct. That's what I was missing at that point. Otherwise, Revo will not remove those checked items, right? Hit select all, then hit delete, right again. Viv says, I do not. I don't know what she's replying to at that point. Viv says, I think the uninstalled fell over before doing anything. Refer my previous chat. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go searching for a previous chat. Sam says I just live split for my timer, but you gotta like your shortcuts I use. Okay, I struggled with understanding that. Pachaco, I don't know if it's me, but it doesn't behave like a SSD. Okay, yeah, and if that's the case, then there's perhaps something else going on. And I have not done much experimenting with the Samsung Magician. So if it makes a difference, then maybe I'll become a believer. Darren says looking good. Blackwatch says replying to Frankie B. Good to see you. Is it? No, it's not quite done. Carl says Acronis runs on startup. It can be stopped on the running tasks part of the task bar. Up arrow on right. Probably why its uninstaller would not work because it was still running. So if Acronis creates an uninstaller and they know that you have to go into Task Manager and in Task, why can't they do that for you? Is there some engineering programming problem that an uninstaller tool cannot end the running tasks of their own software? That's just, I don't understand that. And find that very hard to believe that they
Know
can't
that
do
it
that
finished,
themselves.
but the green bar is all the way across.
Yeah, and there's a cancel button. There, it's done.
Oh,
Okay. So
I
yep,
spoke too soon.
wasn't quite done. Let's see, where was I? So I think 1258 is where I left on the chat. Then selected, but remaining files will be deleted during the next system restart. So these files here have not yet uninstalled because it will uninstall those on the restart, and that's presumably because they are in use. So we've dealt with that. Then finish. Like we're done there. Okay, so Revo Uninstaller's done. And then we'll go do a restart.
Yeah, 3 hours.
What?
Oh, yeah, we lost the Zoom because we were on the computer's Zoom at that point. Sam's he's correcting something on his previous line I used, but Chaco, don't know if it's me. I moved again from me. There we go. 102. And Carl's +1, Viv the previous. Okay, so 103. I'm sorry, Viv. I'm sure you were trying to point out something useful to me, but I've got a lot on my hands right now. So going back to a previous comment on your chat is difficult to do. It's just a lot more helpful if you can just type out what you want to communicate instead of trying to make me go back to it. And I don't mean to sound difficult, but until you actually do this, there's a whole lot going on in front of my eyes right now in my mind. I love you for helping, trying to help, but please put and type out what you mean instead of trying to make me go back and look at something. So then I need to get back to Zoom and join a meeting. And then choose the meeting, join, and passcode. Join with video.
Thank you guys. Hours from now. by saying it's okay to wear your mask indoors.
Okay. Is there something else playing in the background, Harold?
Oh, I was going to go to Zoom, but you did it. So I'll just close that.
All right. But I hear some voices in the background.
Oh, that's my wife. She has to watch the view. Marvel, could you turn that down, please? Because it's really loud. No, we're not through.
Okay, back into AppWiz. And looky there, Acronis
Still
2
there.
image. Still there.
Boy, it's a stubborn program.
Yeah, it's stubborn. I'm going to try its uninstall again, or the Windows uninstall for it. And an error occurred while uninstalling TrueImage. It may have been already uninstalled. Would you like to remove TrueImage from the program's features list? Okay, that's acceptable. I've seen that many times. A residual item shows up on this list when it is already gone. So I think that's fair to conclude that it is gone. Okay, I heard you tell your wife that we've been 3 hours. My gosh, we have been 3 hours. Holy moly. Time goes by so easily on these sessions.
It does.
Catherine, I'm not interested in StreamYard at this point. And I'm very familiar with it. I'm aware of what it does, but it's not going to do what I want it to do. Okay, so the next thing that we could do, if you are game for it, is to install this Samsung Magician. I don't have a lot of experience with it. Carrie Holzman, who is somebody that a lot of us on the stream follow and watch and highly respect, is insistent to or highly recommends it. I've done a lot of Samsung SSD drive installations without it. I haven't really researched it in depth. And I'm sure there's people on the chat right now that feel very strongly that we should do that. However, I want to suggest, since we are 3 hours into this, that maybe you work with the computer for a week or two, and then maybe we install it and see if it makes a difference for you.
What would it do for me?
Well, Samsung Magician is a utility from Samsung that they provide to install in the background, and it runs. It's another thing that runs on the computers. Why I don't like it. It's just another piece of software that's running in the background, and I think it deals with maybe driver updates. And I can't say it offhand. Several people, I'm sure, in the chat right now are probably yelling at their screens what the answer is, because they know it really well. And let's see, Samsung, if I put Samsung Magician, maybe we can come up with a description of what it does. Samsung Magician software, unlocking the full potential of your SSD is easier than ever before. Samsung Magician's intuitive user interface puts an advanced suite of optimization tools at your fingertips. Monitor drive health. Okay, so do you want to see instant by instant that your SSD drive is healthy? No, I don't think so, because it's expected to be healthy.
I can kind of tell.
Customize your SSD, maximize performance just like a pro. All right, let's go look a little bit more about this. I know I might upset some people with my hesitancy towards this, and maybe I'll be proven to be wrong. And that's fine. I don't mind being proved wrong. I haven't really looked at this very deeply. So here's this nice dashboard thing that they give you here. They're showing you drive health, temperature, serial number. My gosh, you should really have your serial number at your fingertips on a daily basis. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm not. I
I
know
think
I'm
you're
being
being facetious, Doug.
I'm being facetious. I'm being sarcastic. Yes, I admit to that. Now, here's a firmware update. This is the one thing that is probably significant to do, because when you buy the drive, it has firmware on it. It has software permanently installed on it, permanently with a tilde in front of it, because you can update it. It's just like firmware for a BIOS upgrade. So that is the one thing that's really significant. So here it's showing the different partitions you have on your drive. And there's other ways we can see that. That's not really a big deal. Here's volume detail. This was disk or total volume up there. Tells you how much free space you have. That's all redundant. But the firmware update is the one thing that is significant. So could the firmware update make the drive perform faster? Or is it to resolve conflicts with other hardware devices? If there's a conflict between this Samsung SSD and your specific laptop, could that conflict be causing the SSD to run slower? Yes, it is possible. Now, I've seen a bunch of things happen in the chat room, so I probably got some responses. Let's go see what it looks like. Are you guys yelling at me? Needs to be shut down. It does a firmware update from Sam. Sam says you don't have to run it all the time. Yes, Viv, Samsung is more expensive because of the software. Viv says most cheaper discs do not do firmware updates. Craig, it does me no good. Don't have some Samsung drives or Windows. Okay, that isn't relevant then. Bruins firmware updates are the most important feature of Magician. Yeah, I'll buy that. And I'll admit I have yet to do one. So Blackwatch, I never used Magician. No issues with SSD if it works well. But I do not have Samsung NVMe drive. Now this is not an NVMe. This is a PCIe SATA SSD. It's not an NVMe. If you don't know it, you have to learn it though. If you don't know it, you have to learn it though. I'm thinking that you mean the Samsung Magician. You have to learn it. Catherine, you could install it to do the firmware update, then uninstall it. That was my best inclination. And my Samsung Magician only runs when I open it, does not always run. Catherine gives, or Bruins has a thumbs up to Catherine. Pacheco, Harry uses it every time he installs a Samsung SSD. Okay, well, they didn't beat me up too much. And I'm on board with what really was said there. It's about the firmware update. Probably won't take time to do. Are you okay with continuing, or do you need to keep peace at home and sign off of this, Harold?
She's reading now, so
She's okay. All right.
that means she's going to totally ignore me.
Okay. Well, give her my thank yous as far as that's worth. Whoops, I don't need this. Why did I type that? So let's get back to Samsung Magician software. So we'll go ahead and download it. See how I do. Here's download files. Is that the right place? I'm going to close this. We don't need to see that there. Let's scroll down. See where I go to download. It's probably download files. That makes a lot of sense. Samsung Magician software. Let's go down faster. Now, for one of the things about whatever sluggishness people might be discerning on your computer, let's remind them that your computer is doing Zoom and doing remote control interactions with my computer. There's just a whole lot of stuff down here. That goes down for a long ways. Let's go back up to the download files. That looks like it's going to be right. Here, download files. That's clickable. Catherine says yes, download files. Oh, Carl says in settings you can tell whether Magician should run on startup or not. Oh, there's a scam call. I get so many scam phone calls. Download files. Magician software. Installation guide, no. Open source announcement, no. Leaflet, no. So we only need this one, version 6.3.0, 52 megabytes. Clicking download. Uh, 26 people watching right now. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody being with us here. And Catherine agrees, remote access in Zoom causing slowness on the screen. And then also as a reminder, the computer that I'm using to connect remotely is kind of a slow computer. And I use that because it does the job just fine for most of the work that I do. So here, opening file. I'm not going to bother copying that to another location. So then a double click. To launch that. Waiting for it to launch. I don't think the slowness of my computer is really contributing to much of the sluggishness that any of us perceive. And I say that because on Harold's end, when my computer is sluggish, his end, he sees things happen quicker. But I'm not seeing any of that kind of hesitation that we had last week when I was using Instant House Call. Welcome. This will install corresponding language. Administrator. Installation should always run as administrator. All right, let's cancel that then. And let's come back here and right-click on it. Oops. Right-click on it. No, I'm inside of a zip file. Apparently, it won't let me run as administrator. So I'll go back. And I'm going to go ahead then, in that case, and cut it from here and put it into the SW setup folder. And I'm going to paste it at this level. And then right-click and extract all. It should create its own subfolder. Yes, so its own subfolder inside of SW setup. Once that extracts, then I'm going to go back up one level to the SW setup. I'm going to delete that zip file because there's no point in leaving clutter. Double click on that folder and then right click Samsung Magician and run as administrator. And yes to the user account control. English. Uh, 116, let's see, sharp or not. Then Catherine says, yes, download files. Catherine says, it's the remote access in Zoom causing slowness. Catherine says, we only have 14 likes. Well, thank you for speaking up, Catherine. I'm not much of one to ask for likes and subscriptions. They do matter. And then accept the agreement and click next. And I certainly appreciate the likes and subscriptions. Even though I'm not one to say it very often. Then create a desktop icon. Yeah, not a quick launch icon. Next. And install. Let's see. 1:21 p.m. Let's Frankie B says, great job, Harold. Blackwatch says, Doug, I like your plan to keep the registry as clean as possible, but then again, I'm old school. Well, that wasn't a scam phone call coming in, but that's going to have to wait till later. Catherine says, I agree too, Blackwatch. She'd be referring to the registry as clean as possible. Frankie B says we have 15 likes. Well, okay, I'm going to guess that was Frankie B that clicked a like, since he pointed out we have 15 likes right after Catherine said we had 14 and 121. Oh, Catherine says, Doug, I have no shame. I ask for you, Doug. Thank you so much. You're a sweetheart. So here we have Samsung Magician installed. And doesn't really have maximize. Let's drag some pictures out of the way. Drag the dual picture down to here, and then drag Harold's thumbnail zoom down below the twin zoom thumbnail. Okay, then benchmark, space used, drive details, performance benchmark, diagnostic scan over provisioning, performance optimization, secure erase, revert, encrypt. Where's the BIOS upgrade or the firmware upgrade? Is it right in front of me and I'm not seeing it?
I don't see it.
Oh, here's update down here. Is that update for firmware or update for Samsung Magician? Could be checking for updates for Samsung Magician. Let's take a look in settings. Run Magician at Windows Startup. We're going to remove that because that's just going to give us reports of the drive's health and temperature and stuff, and just being an extra something running in the background. There's no scroll bar here. I've seen something happen in chat. Let's see, you're telling me. Okay, so Carl is saying the update button. And Ken said to turn off the run at startup. I did that. Oh, Sanegoat says, oh, we're up. Sanegoat says we're up to 20 likes. When I look at the likes, we're actually at 22. So Catherine, you really started something there. Thank you so much. And then click on update over here on the bottom left. Here's software update and firmware update. Samsung Magician, latest version 6.3. You are currently running the latest version of Magician. That would make sense since we just downloaded it. Firmware update. This is showing latest version is that. You are currently running the latest version of firmware. Oh boy.
I guess we're good.
We're good. We just chased down whether we needed a firmware update, and the answer is no, we don't. So the Samsung SSD that you bought from Amazon, turned out it was not sitting on the shelf. Past the occurrence of a firmware update. It very well possibly could have. But it certainly was not a firmware update that we needed in order for the computer to feel faster. I'm thinking we're back to what I proposed earlier, that you try the computer for a week or two, see what you think. I still think there are other tricks up my sleeve as far as what we can do to look for things to speed up your computer within the realm of other elements that could be running in the background that we haven't looked for yet. But I'm not going to do that now. I'm ready for lunch. We're 3.5 hours. Sounds
like a plan.
You know, it's time to actually have somebody come to my house and turn the power off if I don't end this. I mean, come on, we're done here, people.
Thank you, Doug.
You're welcome, Harold. I'm gonna end the Zoom session for you. I'm gonna catch up with chat, and we're gonna shut this thing down. Okay.
All right. Well, again, thanks for your help, and I appreciate. Hope the video gives you lots of likes.
Okay, so if you just look into the camera and say thank you to the people in chat and goodbye to them, you're on full screen now.
Thank you to the people in chat, and I appreciate all your help. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. And let's see. So I'm going to click on your screen to exit the minimize window and then leave. It's there somewhere. There it is. The long goodbye.
Adios.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Bye.
Whoops. Look again. All right. So I've got to end the remote connection to his computer. And then I'm going to turn over here to this camera so I can lecture away when I'm catching up with chat to see if there's anything more. So we're at 26 likes. Thank you again. Click on settings, turn off to that firmware. Fine. The manually clean registry with no issues. Never had a squirrel help me, nor did a backup. I am one loose cannon. Thank you, Blackwatch. Vivian reached over 500 subscribers. Congratulations. Really? Last I looked, it was under 500. Awesome. Thank you for letting me know. Catherine, go to drive details. Go to drive details. Okay, well, we missed that, so we'll catch that another time. Bruins, I would check Windows Update to ensure there are no updates. BH, will there be a giveaway prize when you hit 25 likes? If you'll meet me at the corner coffee shop, I'll buy you a coffee. Viv, I'm making breakfast. Oh, yeah, you're just starting your day there, Viv. Thank you so much for getting up and joining us. Ken, 25 likes. Bruins, good luck. Have a nice day. Beatringer, good luck. Harold. Craig waves at you. Harold. Blackwatch, thanks, Doug and Harold. Catherine, 27 likes. Yay. Viv, goodbye, Harold. Good job. Hello, Beatringer. Darren, did you get the NVMe driver? It's not an NVMe drive, so no, we didn't get an NVMe driver. So, whew. The primary thing I want to do with my channel is to help people with remote connections and Zoom, just like you saw in this video. Send an email to me, DougBetts@LiveWindowsTraining.com, if you'd like to request a session. And that's really what the intent is of that email address. And I'm going to have a limited amount of back and forth emails to people because I can just eat up an awful lot of time. I've had several back and forths with people, and I've enjoyed those connections. But there's going to be a point at which I can't keep that up. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. And I will catch you again another time. We are planning, let's see, Saturday should be Bertland. That's at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And then Sunday, I think it's going to be 4 p.m. Pacific time with Carrie Holzman, connecting remotely to Tim's computer to try to fix his undeletable folders situation. That should be a lot of fun. So here we go, saying goodbye. 3, 2, 1, 0, end stream.